people died and never saw this day. So another day I live, I appreciate. Don't ever wanna act too high and mighty, cause tomorrow I can fall down on my face. So in everything, Lord, I give you praise, and that puts a smile on my face. Lord, I thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day, beautiful day, beautiful day, yeah. Don't fuss and fight, let us unite. You got one life, oh, it's a beautiful day, yeah. It's a beautiful day. So hey, go I walk through the valleys of the shadows of death. I will fear no evil, won't be dismayed when I
I'm feeling the energy, feeling the vibe. Yes, are we live? I just want to know. All right, play again one more time, sir. Thank you. Come
Say this morning I woke up and I looked in the mirror and every part of my body was in place. Many people died and never saw this day. So another day I live, I appreciate. Don't ever wanna act too high and mighty, cause tomorrow I can fall down on my face. So in everything, Lord, I give you praise, and that puts a smile on my face. Lord, I thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day, beautiful day, beautiful day, yeah. Don't fuss and fight, let us unite. You got one life, oh, it's a beautiful day, yeah. It's a beautiful day. So hey, though I walk through the valleys of the shadows of death, I will fear no evil, won't be dismayed when I see the clock ticking away and things are not in place. Everything in life happens for a reason. Disappointment comes with a lesson. It's for me to get wiser, got to work harder. In the end, it will get better. Lord, I thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful day. Please don't fuss and fight, let us unite, let us unite. So let's make it right. It's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful day. If you got life, if you got brains, you not have money, we're living day by day. We have faith, and you can do it.
Hello. Look here, it is today. Today is the day we own our happiness. Can I put that together for the team, ladies and gentlemen? Come on. Of course, we have to shift gears and ensure that we achieve our goals this year. Of course, I am Christopher Johnny Daly, VMBS Chief Happiness Officer, and we have to say welcome officially to our very first Home and Auto Web-Expo. Come on, put that together for us. Yes, of course, this is Victoria Mutual's third staging of the event. And I know being 2020 is a special year, so we have to do things a little bit differently this year. And talking about differently this year, I have with me media darling, the very talented and beautiful Talia Suarez, joining me as my co-host.
Hi,
welcome, Talia.
Welcome.
Yes.
Good afternoon, viewers. How are you? This is
how are we now?
No, it's all about owning our happiness,
yes.
right? Achieving those goals and just feeling the joy when we've accomplished them, right?
Yes.
Right, Johnny?
That's
so
right.
let's go sit down and chat
yes,
about
ma'am.
it.
Look here. The very first Web-Expo.
I know.
How's my set?
Look here. It look good. Am I in your living room, John?
Yeah, with everyone. You're home. Welcome.
Home.
Of course.
Welcome. Now, 2020 has been such a very special
Very
lots to
special.
talk about, you know, but at the end of the day, I think it's time for us to redirect
Yes.
and recalibrate and come again. You
That's
know?
right.
Because we have the decision and the power to change our future, and the decision we need to, you know, we need to do that now.
Own the happiness.
Yes.
Recalibrate, as they say, I like that word.
Yes.
And just shift gears.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Reset, plan, and just take charge of those goals.
Yes.
Don't you
End the
think?
year positively. And we can.
We can.
You can.
Yes.
That's
you
right.
Can. Now, as Johnny said, you can, and you are here because you are, you know, you're serious about your future. And Victoria Mutual is too. So, Johnny, what do you have planned?
In a word, impressive is the
Okay.
word. Yes, we have some great presentations for you today with some specialists in their field to make those
Alright.
presentations. And they're going to be talking about topics like wealth creation, debt management, and of course, my favorite portfolio, the happy portfolio of
Happy portfolio.
home ownership.
Whew,
Yes,
all right.
big
Some
things.
Big things right
Big
there.
things.
Because when you talk about home ownership, you know, that's when people actually say, yes, I've reached a certain milestone.
Yes.
Tick off something off
Yes,
my to-do
you
list
feel
in my life.
accomplished.
Yes, in my life. But impressive indeed,
Yes,
right, Johnny?
of course.
But guess what? I'll catch up with you later.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we're going to
All
talk
right.
a little bit later on, but I think we should get into our first presentation,
There you
right?
go. Yes, ma'am.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, our first presentation, I'm sure, is something that is on everybody's mind, right? How can I make my money grow? Now, you know how you prepare for these goals and actually just go ahead and accomplish them. Now, to give us some strong advice and insight today, we have Mr. Andel Phillips, VMBS Financial Services Specialist, Mr. Trace Gale, VM Wealth Advisor, and Jonathan Simpson, CEO and founder of Jabba's Pepper Swims. Welcome, gentlemen.
Good day, Talia.
I'm welcoming you to my home, courtesy of Victoria Mutual.
Loving it, loving
Have a
it.
seat. All right, so, Andel, how are you?
I'm doing well, doing well.
All right, so let me kick things off with you, right? When is a good time for us to start saving for those goals?
Well, Talia, I would say if you haven't started saving as yet, now is the best time to start.
Okay.
Future investment, future wealth creation begins with that dollar that you're going to save today. So if you haven't started saving as yet, the best time to start saving is right now,
Right now, today.
today.
Today. No, I mean, even if I don't have a goal, because persons' goals differ. For example,
Yes.
some want to have or own a car, some just want to get by, some just want to own a house. You know, so tell me, if I don't have a special or a specific goal, you know, can I just save?
Most
Just for
definitely.
saving's sake?
Most definitely. And it comes down to what an individual determines as a goal. So depending on what you're considering as a goal, whether it be a short-term goal,
Right.
purchasing a specific jewelry, a phone, a long-term goal, a medium-term goal, whereas it a mortgage, a car loan, whatever it is that you consider a goal, it's best to start saving now. And even if you don't have a specific goal, saving is always important.
Right.
You don't know what tomorrow might hold. And as it relates to saving, I would recommend to everyone out there, construct a budget.
Okay. I was gonna ask you about some tips, right, for
Yeah.
persons who probably, I mean, yeah, you want to put down a little $5, $10 here, but what are some of the tips, right, that I can actually save, and actually see some rewards from my saving?
Well, first thing I would say is assess your income.
Okay.
Know how much you're earning on a monthly basis. Whether it be that you're working as a construction site worker, a taxi operator that depends on the load, a financial advisor, a doctor, wherever you're earning money, assess how much you're earning on a monthly basis. If you're only ascertaining one source of income, be sure to try and make your talents. See how you can earn from your talents.
Right.
So first step is assess your income. Then try to track your spending. As a famous dancehall artist would say, you really don't want to be that guy. You really don't want to be that guy who is earning a lot but has nothing to show for it. You want to track your spending, know where you're spending your money. And the best way to do both, assess your income and track your spending, is by constructing a budget
Okay. Just based off what you earn.
based off what you earn and what you're spending.
All right. So income, expenditure. We just probably need to draw 2 lines on a piece of paper, simple as that,
Simple as
and
that.
just write it down.
Write it down.
Okay. All right. So let's talk investment now. Trace, is this only for the rich?
It is. So I heard the notion all over, and that is indeed a myth. I I can tell you that the difference between the rich and the poor is the use of the money.
Okay.
So how you use your money. The similarities, however, between the rich and the poor is that everybody have a goal, right? And how you save for that goal, how you plan for that goal, you understand, will determine your outlook later on. So let's talk about the fact that at VM, we preach inclusivity. And inclusivity does not include just rich. It includes everybody.
Okay.
All right? And we have products that start from as low as $10,000 to enter both unit trust products and to do stock trades.
So basically what you are saying right now is at Victoria Mutual, there is a package then for all income brackets.
For all income
types,
brackets.
just to even get you started.
Just to even get you started. And I want to point out, for people who think that it's for the rich, there are 4 pillars of investment.
Okay.
The first pillar is to start now. You understand? You start now, and that is self-explanatory. The second one is consistency. Continue doing it on a daily basis. Just like savings, when you put your plan in place, you just have to continue doing it day after day or month after month, however you get paid. The third is the diversification. So in diversification, there's a number of stuff that you need to pay attention to. There's liquidity. So you want to ensure that there's some money put away in savings. You understand? You want to ensure that you have you're exposed to a little bit of risk.
Okay.
Then you want to ensure that a part of that money is also relatively safe.
Okay.
Understand? And the fourth pillar is to stay the course.
Stay the course.
Stay the
You
course.
mentioned risk, and when persons talk about investment, a bit of risk is actually involved because you may win some, you may lose some, you may win some again. How do I manage that?
All right. So your risk depends. I can tell you this. When talking about risk appetite, we have to look at it's an individual discussion. It's not a one-shoe-fit-all kind of discussion. So in ascertaining your risk appetite, for argument's sake, we'll discuss your goals, discuss your timeline for achieving those goals, and then discuss, how do you want to reach that goal? And how fast you want to reach that goal will determine the type of risk that you are able and willing to take.
Okay, and also possibly how much you're investing as well.
Exactly, because everybody wants to turn $50,000 into $1 million overnight. However, can you sleep at night knowing that the possibility exists that you can lose in excess of 50% of that in no time? So look at the current state of the stock market. Since the introduction of COVID in March, the stock market dropped over 25%. Would you be comfortable knowing that you had exposure, that kind of exposure?
Right.
Would you be comfortable knowing that, okay, I lost 25% of my money?
Just like that.
Just like that.
Just bad after
However,
life.
prior to COVID-19, there was exponential growth
Right.
in excess of 30% on a regular basis, year over year.
Okay. You mentioned the COVID-19 and the pandemic that's actually affecting the entire world right now. Is this actually a good time to invest?
Before even saying anything, I want to introduce a quote from a multi-millionaire who made his money off investment, Warren Buffett. He says that ongoing fear, and that's quoting word for word, but it's widespread fear is your friend as an investor because it opens up door for a lot of opportunities. Understand? In saying that, what I'm saying is that, guess what? The time is now. There are lots of opportunities out there. Cheap stocks, if you're interested in the stock market. However, even though there are opportunities out there, you don't want to just rush it. You need to be guided. You understand? So speak to the wealth advisors, speak to some professionals to get guidance. Because like VM, we send out stock picks on a regular basis as VM1. All right? And that will guide you because those recommendations are based on companies with good balance sheets and little to no loan.
Okay. And how easy is information accessible at Victoria Mutual? Because I know that investment and stocks is like the new thing. Everybody's a bit more interested in it. You know, we're interested in making our money grow. And we're talking about persons, even their teens, you know, they're talking about stock market and investment. So I'm sure persons are actually interested in finding out how can I just access some simple information and guidance from the term job.
Okay, we have a number of wealth advisors for one. Also, I believe the numbers are listed. Also, we have a website that you can always get access to information on a daily basis, the unit trust information, as well as the stock picks. That can be found on our website.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I have to remind or actually tell our viewers that you will be given an opportunity to ask questions as well at the end of the question and answer and at the end of the presentation. So ensure that you send in your questions because we will address them, or as many as we can when we're finished just having a little chit chat right here. All right, I know we have a lot of questions and you are interested, but we're going to take your questions very soon. All right, so thank you, gentlemen. But I know that, you know, in addition to finances and making your money grow and investment, we have a special guest who actually turned disappointment into victory right here on set with us. And I'm talking about Jonathan. Now, Jonathan, your story is quite interesting. It's a very interesting one, and it seems you turned your disappointment into an opportunity. Now, talk to us a little bit about that.
All right. Thanks for inviting me, guys. By
You're
the
welcome.
way, it was a shocker when I got the call. I didn't realize that so many people really knew about me and the business, and it is really indicative of how well we've been doing over the past couple of years. I started out my work life in the banking industry. Worked in the bank for roughly about 12, 13 years. However, as times changed, we were caught up in a redundancy exercise, me and the people I was working with at the time. Now, while I was at the bank, I used to be selling pepper shrimp products to my other co-workers, people in the building, and eventually started to sell to some other friends outside within the vicinity where I was working, which was in Kingston. And when we were getting the redundancy package and stuff like that, everybody was asking, you know, what is it you're going to do next?
Right.
You know, who is applying for jobs within the bank or elsewhere, other banks. And I really just had a feeling that I didn't want to continue this. It felt kind of mundane, and then you felt like you gave all this time to one day, it's just all of a sudden they don't need any more, here's some money, go. So I said, you know, I've been selling this shrimp for better part of a year to the same customers all the time. They keep buying every Wednesday, every Friday, every Wednesday, every Friday. And so I said, you know, I'm going to try and multiply that effect. So we started out with a social media campaign, you know, advertising the product, and we started to do individual deliveries of pepper shrimp. And then that went well. And then I said, all right, how can I get wider distribution of shrimp? And then that's how we started going into supermarkets, gas stations, and so on. And I guess the rest is history.
I mean, when I hear Jabba's pepper swims, you know, people all ask for it in foreign. So look here, please to pack up some Jabba's pepper swims and take for me, because they love it so much.
Yeah.
Now, when you look back on your journey and you see how far you've come in relatively a short space of time, you know, many persons are probably facing the same predicament that you were faced with, especially because of COVID-19 right now. You know, what advice would you give to that person who's actually probably in a similar situation that you were in?
I mean, my advice would really be to dream big. I think that, especially in this time, there is a lot of opportunities out there. And times we kind of get stuck into the mundane activities of going into a job, applying for a job, working. But there's so many opportunities out there. Sometimes you might have a dream and you think that if it don't work, you don't know what you're going to do. But sometimes it just takes the first step. A lot of times it takes partnering with even institutions like VM. And there are a multiplicity of organizations out there that the government has that support small business and support persons who have ideas. And so generally, if you're in the situation, I would say dream big. I mean, the sky is the limit. Yeah, the sky is the limit, and it really just takes careful planning and execution. And I think anything is possible, really.
So you mentioned dreaming big, and you actually mentioned just building on what you actually started.
Right.
But how would you probably recommend them to start right now? You know, I have an idea. I want to sell these orchids. You know, how would you recommend for them to start?
Well, I'm going to tell you what I didn't do, what you should do, right?
Okay.
First, write it down. You write down the idea on paper.
Make a plan.
Make a plan. You know, the funny thing is I studied business in university as well, you know, operations management, and I did all of these stuff, business plans, all this stuff. I really didn't do much of it when I started my business, and I took a lot of hits because of it. I mean, we've just been blessed to have a very good product and customers that have been gung-ho about sharing our product. So we have really grown organically. So a lot of my initial business advances was customers just kept sharing pictures. Oh, I'm eating Java's pepper shrimp and so on. But I would say, in general, the right thing to do is to put down a plan, a business plan. And then when you have a business plan, you even approach a financial institution if you need to get funding. Or you just start execute from day one. Make the first step, find the product, find the service, and give it a test run, do a market survey, you know, just do it, try.
Okay.
And you'll be surprised at what happens once you actually make that first step.
Has social media played an important part in the growth of your business?
Huge role, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, primarily 95% of my marketing is on social media.
Wow.
With Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. And we know that the pepper shrimp is your signature product. It's popular, persons love it. Why did you see the need to step out, you know, and go beyond that? Okay, give
Beyond
us
the
some
pepper
new
shrimp?
product. Yeah, man. Some new things.
Well, you know, I mean, even for me, I hardly eat pepper shrimp anymore because, you know, if you're getting the same thing all the time, you just eventually, you know, you just want something different. Pepper shrimp is a product. It's like it's kind of like mango and a couple other things in Jamaica that people just always want to get.
Right.
KFC. You know, it's just something that Jamaican people, if you go in abroad, they want them chicken, they want them fried fish, they want them pepper shrimp, they want stuff like that. So I kind of zone in on that product because it's something that I always like to eat but afraid to eat. So when I used to go on the road and see them.
And what are
on the
those?
road-
Tell us, you know, what your business grew to.
Oh, in terms of the products that we
Yeah,
do
man.
now?
Tell me about your products.
All right, so we've now transitioned into doing a lot of seafood dishes in general. So that's not through distribution. That's really just like right now a takeout where we do almost every seafood you can think of.
So
which
you
is-
moved from just selling pepper swims
Right.
to having pretty much a restaurant.
Right.
Okay.
And that's basically what we're going into next. So you will still have Java's pepper swims on one hand, and then there will be a restaurant now that would be a seafood entity. There will be shrimp, lobster, crab, the works.
All right. And finally, I have to ask you, now, share some tips for small startups on some of, you know, the do-it-yourself marketing and sales promotions that have been effective for you in generating sales that they can probably apply as well.
Well, I would say intro the product is a quality product. The service is a quality service. I think that generally people gravitate towards good businesses and good products, things that people have put a lot of energy and thought into. Social media, the social media platforms that are there, the marketing tools that they have are pretty efficient and affordable. So you find that maybe if you approach a marketing company in Jamaica, it might be a little expensive to do an ad. While with Facebook, you may be paying $30, $40, $50 to run a decent ad campaign that can generate hundreds to even thousands of followers for your business.
Does customer service play a part as well?
Huge part.
The word of mouth. We can't get rid of word of mouth when
Word
it
of
comes to
mouth,
growing
I
a
mean,
business.
and with any business, you will always have a mix.
Okay.
I mean, you have to deal with customer complaints, but I mean, somebody might eat the shrimp and say it's too peppery. Somebody might eat it and say, boy, it's too salt. Somebody might say, oh, it's too little salt. And persons may have issues with the product, and it's important for you to be able to deal with each customer on an individual basis to provide, as it relates to complaints, proper reconciliation with the customer. And then for the customers that we have, we just try to ensure that they get the best service that they can possibly get from us.
All right, Jonathan, thank you for sharing your tips and tricks
Yeah, you're
and,
welcome.
as to how you've grown your business. And then I have to ask you though,
Yes.
how important is it to, set your goals and actually grow those goals? How important is it?
Well, I can say setting a goal, you should consider that as a vital need, something that you have to do. As Jabba would have said, first step is writing it down,
Okay.
visualizing your goals, seeing it for what you want to accomplish, and working diligently towards it. A simple goal such as a vacation, owning your own home, it's something that a lot of Jamaicans think about. But not until they set a goal, write it down,
Yeah.
and make it a priority. That is when you're going to achieve it. And there are simple ways how you can save towards achieving those goals. Ways such as making your savings automatic, put in an automatic mode.
Okay.
Whereas you have some organizations would assist with standing order, with salary deduction. That's an automatic salary deduction from your salary.
So basically, before it comes, I don't even see it.
You don't see
It's
it.
not even a part of my salary anymore. I just forget about it.
And it goes.
And I just keep it moving. I
Perfect.
know that, guess what, I'm saving or I'm investing.
You see. And for those institutions that don't do salary deduction, you might be working and your company don't do salary deduction. We recommend standing order also. That is an automatic deduction from your pay account
Okay.
to a savings account. That's a structured way in how you can ascertain and achieving your goals.
Okay.
So the first thing is writing it down,
Write it down.
stay consistent with your goals, make it a lifestyle and not a habit.
Okay. All right. Priority.
Prioritize.
It's a priority, not an option. All right, guys. So there you have it. From savings and investments to turning your God-given talent or gift into, your next business, a successful business, I should say, right? But we've given you some useful tips and information as to how you can transform your life and achieve those goals, right? So now I think it's time for us to take a few questions from you. I know you've been tuned in, I know you've been paying attention, I know you've been listening keenly, and I think it's time to hear from you. I never ask everybody everything, just to give you a chance, right? To ask your own questions. So we're going to be taking some questions from our viewers online, and I know you are quite interested in possibly some of the packages that Victoria Mutual will have to offer you guys, So I think the first question I have is about the budget. How can persons save towards home ownership?
Well, I think that is a question that I could answer.
All right, and then you go.
So, developing a budget. As I said earlier, structuring your goals. Home ownership is a long-term goal.
Right.
First step in achieving that goal is creating a budget and sticking to that budget. A budget is a simple way of how you can assess your income and your expenses, as I mentioned earlier, and shave down on some expenses that you may deem not necessary at that time
All right.
in achieving those goals. So creating a budget and working diligently towards them is a specific way on how you can achieve home ownership.
All right. So is it that, for example, I budget $10 for food this month,
Yes.
and where the $10 start and where it stop is where it stop. I'm not gonna buy anything extra, or order some extra fast food that I really probably don't even need. But where the $10 start and stop, that's where it stop.
Exactly.
Discipline.
Discipline and consistency.
Okay.
When you're thinking about a budget, those are the key things: discipline and consistency.
Discipline and consistency. I don't know if you want to add anything, Trace or Jonathan, to our budget. I mean, budgeting for investment. How does that work?
No, so pretty much the same applies. It's we do standing orders and stuff like that
Okay.
for investment as well, and it's just getting rid of the rid of the unnecessary stuff.
Unnecessary spending.
Unnecessary spending. You understand?
Okay.
So avoid certain things. Take lunch to work. You understand?
Just simple little
Simple
things that
little
would make
things
a
that
big
will
difference.
that will make a big difference down the line.
Okay.
And that money can be used for saving /
Or
investment.
Okay. Did that play a role in developing your business though, Jonathan?
Definitely, but it was actually a lesson that I learned the hard way. Again, because of not writing down and not planning and not budgeting,
Uh-huh.
was when you kind of realized that, hey, you don't really have a clear idea of how much money you're spending, how much money you're earning initially, because there's no clear budget. And it was when we started to kind of sit down and put pen to paper that we were able to kind of drive the business in a particular direction. Cut costs where we need to cut costs, and you know, increase so we can increase revenue. And you know, so definitely budget is key because you only have a certain amount of money to work with, and so you have to be able to apportion it to the right places. Some towards the goals, some towards your personal expenses. It's all about management of funds.
How do we balance needs versus wants though?
Well,
Especially when it comes to, because I want roll over my money, you know, I want to invest and I want to see that those returns, you know what I mean? And I also want to save for the rainy day and I want to start my own business. There's so many things that I want to do. Needs versus wants. How do I balance all of that?
When it comes to savings and investments, I can tell you how the rich does it, because we have a balanced amount of clients.
Right.
They invest first and
Okay.
save first.
Okay.
So the money comes out through standing order or whatever, and it goes away
So we no
first.
see.
So you don't see it.
I forget about it.
So there goes your need.
Okay.
Because you're planning for that rainy day, you're planning for that tuition, you're planning for your kids.
Right.
You're supplementing your pension later on. All of those things. So that comes out.
Okay.
And everything happens after.
So the less I see, the less I want to spend carelessly. That's what you're trying to say to
Pretty
me.
much,
And we
pretty
will put to good use.
And guess what? Everybody does it. It's not just the rich. Because when you do it like that, then later on you are among the rich.
Okay, there you go.
perfect.
Tell me about some of the savings accounts or some of the investment accounts that Victor Mutual has to offer.
Well, when it comes on to savings accounts at the Victor Mutual Building Society, we have regular savings accounts. Those are simple accounts that you can do your normal transaction on, get an ATM card. But we also have a structured saving plan that we call an iSave.
iSave?
iSave.
Okay.
You're saving.
All right.
So an iSave account is a structured saving plan that you determine how much you want to save on a monthly basis in ascertaining a specific goal, whether it be for vacational purposes, but you're saving towards a specific goal.
I have to tell you what that goal is, or
No,
it
you
don't
don't.
matter?
It matters to you.
Do I have to tell you I want to save $100,000? Just that. And when it reaches that point, you come and tell me, ding, 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 ding. You've accomplished your goal. Do you do that, Victor Mitchell, or you just let me keep saving and saving and saving?
Well, in a case such as that, you determine what your goal is. We can assist you in guiding you toward to achieve that goal
Okay.
in specific ways. Individuals may come in to say that they want to save towards a deposit on a house.
Right.
We have an iSave for home.
Okay.
That's a structured saving plan as well that you save on a monthly basis and you get some level of interest on your money. And you get excellent benefits when it's time to purchase that house
Okay. From VM.
from VMBS.
I get a better interest rate.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
listen out for the goodies. But I know we have home ownership talk a little bit later on, so I'm not even going to bother throw that to you. But you know, maybe we get some very, very special rates, right, Trace? It's okay. But Jonathan, let me ask you this. There are many persons who, for example, like you use your skill or your talent to create a business.
Right.
What about somebody who have all 3-4 talent and you're just confused? You're like, I'm really good with people, but I can't cook, but I can create a table, but I can, you know what I mean? So how did you direct your energy to focusing on doing pepper swims and knowing that, hey, this can actually work? When did that light bulb go off in your head to say, listen, I can actually turn this into something profitable? Because we're such talented people, you know, we're blessed with so many talents sometimes, you know. You might can shave here good, I don't know, you know what I mean? But sometimes you have so many different talents that you just don't know where to direct your energy into to make it profitable and to turn it into a business and be successful with it. So tell me, when did that light bulb go off? What's that click?
It's a tough question.
You never know?
I mean, I know when the light bulb went off for me was just the fact that I was able to do some unofficial type of market research because I was selling this shrimp to persons as a side hustle
Okay.
for about a year. So I was able to assess that these same people are buying this shrimp religiously. You know, I was like, so obviously there is something about this. That
Yeah, so you had a little idea.
So I was like, ding, 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 I multiply this effect.
So I say this must taste good enough to make
Right.
certain amount of people
I
buy it.
am a very good cook too. So
All
I know
right.
I know about good food. So, and you know, so I know that the product was very good in terms of the taste. And I mean, people were just, you know, to be spending money on pepper shrimp Monday and Friday for a year. You know,
It's serious.
yes,
You put
pretty
something in
serious.
that shrimp, you know, Jonathan. What is
Yeah, so I realize, you know, and if people don't get the shrimp, they're upset. You know, baby going mark, all kind of problems.
All right.
That's when the light bulb went.
That's what. Okay, when the baby don't let the baby
Don't
mark.
make the baby mark.
All right, Jonathan. I have to ask you. There is another question that came in about tips about purchasing stocks. What are some of the tips or tricks that What do we consider when we want to consider this whole stock market and purchasing these stocks? What do we look for?
All right, so there's no tricks to purchasing stocks, absolutely none. It's just about information. So what we do at VMWealth is that we have researchers who continuously review companies, review their balance sheets, see the kind of loans they have, the size of the loans they have. We look at their cash flow, and we make recommendations based on these items.
Okay.
Right? So you would have noticed that for the last few weeks, even after the COVID, we're in the COVID.
Okay. When things kind of calm down a
Yeah,
little bit.
we've been recommending similar stocks over the past few weeks, and that is because of we look at the needs, right? What will they be doing now that everybody's at home, nobody's going anywhere?
Right.
Are these businesses striving in this atmosphere? And those would be our recommendations. So it's not really a trick. It's about keeping your ears to the ground, continue reading, watching CNN, watching BBC, watching TVJ, CVM, all of those. And then there's Bloomberg is so public right now, you can always get insight from Bloomberg. So it's about getting information.
Okay, getting information. And Victoria Mutual, you have persons who will guide us along the way.
Definitely, we do that.
So all we have to do is pretty much call Victoria Mutual and ask for some advisors on the stock market.
Yeah, but and our stock picks are generally on the website.
Okay.
So once we do it, we upload it.
All right. I have another question coming from Janice Jackson. I understand we need to use a broker to set up investment accounts. However, do we need a broker to trade individual stocks? If not, how easy is it to enter and exit a trade?
All right. So very easy question, very nice question too. So we now have access to the JTrader platform that is hosted by Jamaica Stock Exchange. You can, once you set up an account with us, you get access to that platform and you can manage your own trades.
All right, next question comes from no, that's not Jenny. Okay, next question. Good day. Where can we go to access the tips on purchasing stocks?
Okay. Also, what I must do now, remember the website.
Yes.
So it's you can go to VMBS, VM Wealth Management. Just type in VM Wealth Management through Google, and you can see, you'll get the access.
VM Wealth Management.
Yeah, VM Wealth. So it's a VMBS. You'll go to VMBS. You'll see the number of different. I'm trying to remember. It's so easy when I go in. Just type in the VM Wealth, and you get access to the number of different items.
Next question. What is the process and requirements to open a unit trust account?
So that also is similar. It's just a matter of having a discussion. Then through that discussion, we'll ascertain what product suits you. And then when we ascertain that, then it's just a matter of signing up the account. So we have 4 Jamaican denominated unit trust accounts, and we have unit trust products, and we have 4 US denominated products.
Okay. All right. So I guess that's it. I think we have all the questions. Those are all the questions. One more. Okay. Let's see. Last question. One more question. Okay. Last question. When saving for a home, is it better to do a regular savings account or investments in the stock market?
I mean, it's a dual question. It's so it depends on your timeline.
Okay.
It depends on your timeline because, as I say, a lot of people would want. So the iSave account that my colleague will speak about, and investment works in tandem with acquiring your home.
Perfect.
That's
Yes.
so.
I don't know if you want to.
Well, just to elaborate on what Trey said as well, in ascertaining a home, it's a long-term goal. As I mentioned earlier, we have the iSave for Home account. It's a structured saving that you save and accumulate a specific amount of money.
Right.
Once accumulating that money, you can then determine whether you want to deposit it or you want to invest it with my colleague Trace over here to further gain on your investments.
Okay.
So it's as Trace said, they go hand in hand, investing and saving.
So would you advise then that, for example, if it is that I start investing and I realize where it's profitable, then I can save some and then invest back some
Most
more?
definitely.
You-
Most definitely.
and
Because
I'm sure
we always suggest, and I mentioned it earlier, diversifying your portfolio.
Okay.
You understand? So and it depends on how risky you want to get. Because you don't want to put everything in one place.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay. I think I have a final question. What is the minimum amount to start a trade?
10,000.
10,000 Jamaican
10,000 to start the account.
to start the account.
And then you buy your units in say hundreds.
Okay.
So you can buy 100 units of whatever you want.
Whatever. And you will advise
No,
us
most definitely.
accordingly.
Most definitely.
Okay. All right. There you go. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here, telling us all this amazing information about savings, about business and goals, writing it down, investing and the stock market. As I mean, it's so intricate, it's so serious, but at the same time, it's so important to help us take charge of our goals and just own our happiness. To say it in a nutshell, right? Now, I mentioned that it is a home and auto Web-Expo, and we've been hearing about money. We've been hearing about growing our money. We've been, seeing the beautiful decor, feeling very homely. So you must be wondering, where are the vehicles, right? It's an auto expo as well, and our chief happiness officer went to check out a few deals. So guess what? Let's check this speaker out and see where he went and what he was up to, because he was up to something. Let's go, guys.
So I'm now walking into the auto zone where we're going to be talking to some of our auto dealers to see how we at VM can get you in your own ride. When we say happiness, we're not just talking about homes, we're talking about your car as well. They say if you're starting, you must start at the top. So, I'm with Senior Sales Executive Jason Ricketts, and he's the man from Silver Star Motors. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Morning, Johnny. Thanks for having me.
All is well?
Always.
So they say we have to social distance. So it's have to stress.
Yes.
So Jason, we are here standing beside a very high-end Mercedes. Please talk to me about Silver Star Motors, first of all, and what it's like selling these great vehicles with VM.
Okay, well, Silver Star Motors is the only Mercedes-Benz dealership in the country, and our partnership with VM goes way back. So it's absolutely just natural and a pleasure to be partnering with VMBS again once more to produce and provide this awesome vehicle at a very incredibly affordable rate.
Talk to me about Silver Star Motors and some of the deals you're offering to customers.
Okay, well, since Silver Star Motors right now, currently we're offering the vehicles at a reduced price. First and foremost, price. As you know, with the COVID crisis, we're flexing with our customers in partnership with VMBS to offer the vehicles at a more affordable price, hence your payments will be lower. So we've discounted the vehicles tremendously for our clients.
So if you're a hard-working person, you deserve one of these cars, definitely walk into our VM office. So Demarcado Aliman from the Stewart's Automotive Group, and he's standing right here beside my Jeep. Look here, Demarcado, I want to get into one of these. What do I need to do? What kind of specials do you have at Stewart's for me?
Okay, so we are partnered with VMBS, but we have a promotion which is a 5-month waiver, which you get 5 years warranty, 5 years amber tracking, 5 years JAA, and 1 year service package.
All right, so we're talking about the 2020 model here.
Yes, it's a 2020.
What are some of the great features, other features you can talk to me about this particular vehicle?
This particular vehicle is equipped with a 1.5 liter engine. It's a 4-wheel drive, and you have the option to drive it in 2-wheel if you do not need the 4-wheel axle.
That's what it's about, keeping you happy. Make sure if you want to drive one of these Jimmy's courtesy of Stewart's Auto Group, that you come and talk to your rep from VM, and we'll certainly find you a way, right, sir?
We'll find a way.
I'm with Kadeen Allison. She's a sales consultant with Mitsubishi Motors. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm okay, Johnny.
It's great to be here with you. And you have this awesome looking vehicle standing in front of. Talk to me about this particular Eclipse Cross.
All right, so this Eclipse Cross, it's one of our newest model in the Mitsubishi line. It is our 2021. It's not 2020, so it's 2020.
Brand spanking new.
Spanking new. So this car actually, it's a 2-liter engine. We have them in 2 different packages, 2-wheel drive and also 4-wheel drive. For persons who normally do a lot of off-road terrains, they can actually do the 4-wheel drive, or persons who want a little bit more leather in their spank when they're driving, then they can go for that. It also comes with reverse cameras, sensors, front and rear sensor. So guess what we're doing? We're actually offering you 5 months payment waiver. What did I say? 5 months payment waiver. We're in which we at Mitsubishi Motors, our brand, will pay 5 months for you complimentary. All right, so if you partner with VMBS, whatever they say, we give you 5 months, and after that we offer you the other packages, which is 3 years warranty. We offer 5 free services, and we also offer you 1 year tracking on your vehicle.
All right, so I'm now with the Magna Motors family, and I'm with Ian Benitez. He's a sales, of course, what do you call a sales advisor? I like the term that you're using at Magna Motors, sales advisor. It's a sales client advisor. That's right. Mr. Benitez, how are you doing, sir?
I am good.
Ian, talk to me about these wonderful lines of cars you have here.
All right, so what we have here with us today are 3 of our SUVs and 1 sedan. Now, the 3 SUVs that we brought here today are the Venue to the far left, the Creta in the middle, and our flagship SUV, which is the Santa Fe. And these are all the loaded models. So they come with full trim, panoramic sunroof, you name it.
So we know, of course, COVID is here with us, a pandemic, but one of the things you said to me earlier is that people still want to buy good cars, and they want them at good prices, same way. And of course, deals, I'm sure, are on show right now. What deals can you offer of persons who want to purchase a vehicle right now?
What we're doing at Magna is we're giving you 5 months of your loan payment up front. That's covered by Magna. Consider it a COVID relief, actually. So there's no catch. It's not a deferred payment. We're actually making your first 5 months of your loan payment for you. Now, in addition to that, we give 5 years bumper to bumper warranty. It's 5 years or 100,000 kilometers warranty. That's the best available on the market. And one other thing that is now unprecedented totally is that we're giving you 5 years service-free parts and labor, in addition to your 5 years roadside assistance.
Ian Benitez is a client advisor, giving you options when it comes to Hyundai vehicles. And of course, they're displaying 4 here this afternoon. And you just heard it from him. Of course, through VM, you can get great deals, and they have great packages as well available for their clients. All right, so I'm now with Omain Thompson from Auto Channel. And of course, Omain, what about vehicles you have here, Omain, man?
Yeah, man, a whole heap. Wider range of brands, different brands, prices that fit every single sector in the market. When we realized that this COVID thing is here to stay for a little while, in about the last part of March, we decided that, listen, the best way to counter that is to slash these prices so that they can afford them at a more competitive rate. So a vehicle that would probably cost $3 million is now down to 2.75. So we have these figures, and these are going up until about the end of June. So we still have this deal, so persons who don't get it yet can come and get it.
Can you talk to me about the relationship between yourself and VM? Customers can walk through VM's doors and ensure that they still get a great loan with Auto Channel. Is that possible?
It is. We have done several vehicle loans with VM, and Victoria Mutual, quite frankly, has one of the best interest rates out there on the market. Now,
extensive variety, and of course you heard him say that VM has one of the best interest rates right now out there for an auto loan, and that's what we do to ensure you are happy. So auto channel, VMBS, great combination.
A very good one indeed.
Wow, we're talking about some Hot Wheels and some even hotter discounts, right? Deals, deals, and more deals. So make sure you check them out, because guess what? Now is the perfect time to change your vehicle, you know, upgrade, whatever it is. Maybe it's your first vehicle, who knows, but we have some fantastic deals for you. Make sure you check it out. So, usually, this word raises a lot of questions, right? And I'm talking about, should I do it? Should I not do it? I mean, it can be positive, it can be negative, but how you use it ultimately decides what the outcome will be. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to discuss the matter of managing debt, please welcome Ms. Alison Morgan, branch manager at the VMBS Halfway Tree branch, and Mr. John Matthew Sinclair, CEO of Credit Info Jamaica. Welcome, beautiful lady and gentlemen.
Hi, Talia. Good day.
Hi, how are you doing, Talia?
Welcome.
How are you?
All is well, everyone's good?
Yes, surviving.
Surviving.
In a positive way.
In a
We are thriving.
Thriving.
We are thriving
All right.
indeed.
Thriving.
We're thriving like
Yes.
set. Owning our happiness indeed.
Taking charge and resetting.
Resetting and
Yes,
being
ma'am.
in charge. Taking
Yes.
charge
All
of
right.
those goals. Now, Alison, you are a seasoned banker with a wealth of experience. Why is debt usually, considered as negative or seen in a negative light?
So before we can get to that answer, we need to really understand what is debt. Believe it or not, a lot of persons don't understand what debt is. Simply put, debt is you enter an arrangement with someone to say, I'll borrow something from you today. We work out some contract, specific repayment, the amount, etc. So it's an investment now that you take with the guarantee to repay. So that technically is what debt is.
I love how you said guaranteed to repay.
Guarantee, it's not yours. So you have
Just
to
making it
ensure,
clear.
yes, you have to ensure that you stick to the commitment. It's your word, it's your bond, it's your promise.
Okay.
Right. So back to your question. Why is debt seen as a negative? Unfortunately, it seems to just go hand in hand. When you hear debt, you think negative, and it really ought not to be the case,
Okay.
Let me tell you the reason why. Because of the consequences of mismanaged debt.
Okay. I think persons probably view it to say, I'm taking what I don't have or what I don't even have, So it's like a negative, but it might just enhance my life right now, but I really just don't have it right now. You know what I mean?
But that's true. So the real impetus of considering whether debt is good or bad or should be viewed positive or negative depends on what you're going to use the debt for.
Okay.
So that is the key right
I
there.
was just about to ask you, tell me the difference between good debt, bad debt.
So bad debt is debt that does not enhance your net worth. It does not enhance your future value in whatever it is that you're taking the debt to finance for. Good debt is debt that does those things that I mentioned. So let's give you some examples so persons can understand specifically what are good debt and bad debt. So bad debt, unmanaged credit card. This is the bane of many persons' existence, and we really just need to get a handle on this. So unmanaged credit card, that tops the list.
Spending, you say,
You just
oh gosh,
spending.
I have
Yes.
this amount can use, oh gosh man, I'm ready to go.
So you see there, so that is why it's important to define that it's not yours. You don't have this amount can use. It's not your money.
Right.
So unmanaged credit card debt is one. Debt to circumvent monthly living expenses, that's bad debt.
Okay.
If you find yourself using debt to repay your electricity bill, your other utilities, to deal with any emergencies on your motor vehicle, any little illness, then you are in a debt trap. So that's bad debt.
All right.
We kind of have a debt that is borderlands. I think it's specific to Jamaica, perhaps, and it's really debt to finance education. So our government facility now is the Student Loan Bureau. A lot of persons would come to me in conversations and say, is student loan debt good or bad? Personally, I think it's a good debt. You know why? When debt is used to invest in yourself, you are banking on future returns.
Okay.
You are trying to upgrade yourself. When you use the teachings that you would have garnered from your postgraduate or undergraduate studies that you use the student loan to finance, that is good debt, future returns.
All right. But on the other hand, persons might look at it as bad debt because they're saying, boy, when I finish school and actually have this education, it's actually putting me back because I'm going to take a longer time to start life, I mean, that money could have gone towards something else, whatever I'm earning, versus going back to paying back the debt or the student loan.
I agree.
So, I mean, we're trying to find the balance
So the balance is to ensure that whatever it is that you use the student loan to finance,
right,
you are putting it into practice. We have a lot of persons, for example, that are skilled and they have the training and they have the trade, but they just don't have the stick-with-itness to ensure that we translate this into future earnings.
Okay.
So that is one of the things that you need to look at.
Basically, by the time I'm finished getting this education, I should be able to earn to pay it back.
You should be able to earn to pay it back. Right.
Okay, so
So I was just going to finish up and tell you the good debt.
Right.
So we have the bad debt and we have the good debt. So examples of good debt, as I mentioned before, debt that you take exactly to invest in yourself. When you purchase anything that saves you time and money, that's a good debt. There's nothing you can do to circumvent time. You can't make any more of your time. So if you buy something that would alleviate your time and free up your schedule, which can turn around to allow you free time to, for example, invest in a skill or a trade. Something else, that is good debt. And of course, the very, very best good debt of all, my absolute personal favorite, a mortgage. Specifically a VMBS mortgage. So that is the ultimate good debt that we want.
That's good peace of mind.
That's good peace of mind.
It's good peace of mind.
Amen.
It sounds like my boss is sleeping good at night. He ain't got no worries.
No.
You ain't losing no sleep. All right. So tell me now, how do you determine what's a reasonable amount of debt? One should have. How is it calculated? Is it based on income?
So reasonableness is a fluid term, and it really comes back to your own individual circumstances and your situation. This is where it calls for some introspection and for you to really sit down and assess where you are financially and where you'd like to be. Okay. Reasonableness, we would say, well, let's first start with the methodology of calculating debt, which is the debt to income ratio. It's DSR. Simply put, how much debt you have as a percentage of how much you make. So in order for you to determine what your own individual DSR is, you really need to know how much you make. A lot of persons, if you're employed, you don't know the changes on your payslip. You don't know your annual income. You don't know what benefits your employers offer that you could perhaps use to your advantage. If you are self-employed, some individuals don't look at their finances until it's time to file annual tax returns.
Right.
We want to discourage that kind of behavior. We want you to get up close and personal with your finances, know your income, know if your income is flexible, know what you can bank on, and have an understanding of what it is that you take home each month, each fortnight, whatever your cycle is.
Okay, and basically, again, it's important to just write it down and max it out.
Max it
out.
I would have the Excel sheet in place.
Yeah.
Or
you can go old school. You can go old school. Two lines: income, expenses. Really and truly.
How can good debt turn to bad debt now? And how can we fix some of this bad debt that we have?
So good debt can turn to bad debt in a heartbeat. The most common causes, and Jermaine can speak to this later on when you speak to him, is non-payment. So remember earlier when I said the guarantee to repay?
Right.
If you fail to make that monthly payment, this is the surefire way for good debt to transform to bad debt. So when you don't pay, when you pay in part, when you pay beyond the agreed due date, And if you, and in the case of a credit card, if you keep paying only the minimum balance, then you're on the road to having it
It starts
transfer.
stocking and piling
Yes,
on.
yes.
Okay.
It's a slippery slope,
Uh-huh.
and we really want to encourage you to take control of your finances. So that's how good debt goes to bad debt quickly.
And I know that debt impacts your credit history
Yes.
also.
So debt impacts your credit history in several ways. What I just spoke about, if you fail to make the agreed payments, etc., you are lowering your credit score. A lower credit score means you're more high risk. High risk means you do not have access to loan facilities like someone with better credit. It also means that if you don't have a high enough credit score, you could be shutting yourself out from deals. Persons with great credit score, they can actually leverage that and bargain with financial institutions to get lower interest rates, because you can say, hey, I pay really, really well. I'm a low risk client. Lend me the money. You are guaranteed that I am going to repay it based on my credit history and my trajectory.
Repay the correct amount, repay
Okay,
it
on time,
Okay.
yes. And if something happens and you have the debt and you are not able to make your payments, then please start a discussion with the financial institution that extended the credit to you. Do not assume that they know what is happening. Lack of communication is not working to your advantage in that situation. And truthfully, a lot of institutions, they don't want you to fail. So they would work out solutions for you to say, let's give you a moratorium, let's put you on pause, let's restructure the debt. Just have a conversation, have a discussion, protect your credit history. It's very, very vital.
It's very important to just have open and honest communication
Yes.
with your financial institution.
And with yourself. Yes. And with yourself.
And be honest about it.
Yes.
So true.
Yes.
Now, since we're speaking about credit, I think that this has created a nice little segue
Mhm.
to Matthew.
All right,
Now,
my
your
turn.
organization is critical in the credit journey, right? Talk
Right,
to
so-
us about Credit Info Jamaica.
All right, so we were the first licensed credit bureau in Jamaica. We've been in existence since 2012. We ensure that the financial institutions can use the credit history of the potential customer or borrower to ensure that they have the willingness to pay. So Alison spoke about the ability to pay, which is the debt service ratio, income versus outcome. So we know that Talia has $50,000 that she can use to service her loan, but is Talia willing to pay this? And that's based on your history. So it looks on the behavior, and then the institutions utilize our credit report, which has a score, a 3-digit number. That's what we use. So the credit report is like a credit is like your report card on how you service and behave and how you behave in paying your loans. And then based on that, they determine, if they want to get into business with you and offer you the opportunity to get credit.
Okay, I was just about to ask you, what exactly is this credit report, right? And what type of information
Information is on it.
updated and actually on it? Because I'm sure a number of our viewers are probably saying credit report.
Yes.
We have that now in Jamaica.
Yes,
Foreign we hear about them things,
yes.
but it's so important to maintain a good credit report right here in Jamaica to
Yes.
be able to access all these goodies from our financial institution.
Correct.
So tell me about the credit report.
All right, so the credit report is an amalgamation of all of your different loans, your contracts that you have with one or multiple institutions.
Right.
We put it together, then what we do at the Bureau is we provide the financial institution and yourself, because you're entitled to one free credit report, but we're going to get into that later.
Okay.
It allows the financial institution to look at all of your payment history, all your credit history, the contracts that you would have access to, how you're managing those contracts, and then based on that, they can determine if they want to extend credit to you.
So basically, you have all of my business.
All your business. All your business is out the road and you have it.
Okay, all right. So you see, we can't hide nothing from you.
No.
Now, are persons able to request their own credit report?
Yes, so by law, we're regulated by the Bank of Jamaica.
Okay.
The Financial Advisory Supervisory Division, and you're entitled to one. Every Jamaican is entitled to one free credit report per year. Now that there's COVID, we have opened our digital channels to get a credit report. So usually, you can come into the office, you have to present a nationally issued ID, driver's license, your voter's ID, or your passport. You come in, you complete a form. Now what we have done due to COVID and to keep everybody safe, you can apply online. You can go to jm.creditinfo.com. You click on free credit report, you take a selfie, you scan your ID back and front, you populate the application form, and then within 24 hours, and your credit report is emailed to you.
Wow, it's formulated and done. That's it.
Right.
So how often is this information updated?
Monthly. So every month we get monthly, right? And it can even be it can even be shorter than that. So the information is updated once we get it from the financial institutions, and these are banks, microfinance institutions, credit unions, building societies, hire purchase, utilities, etc. Insurance. So we get a lot of information on a monthly basis, and this is what builds your credit history. And as Alison mentioned, the better the history, the better the score, is the easier it is for you to negotiate.
But John Matthew, you're not playing.
No.
Like it's serious business.
It is serious, and Talia, just to add to the point, a lot of persons, as you said before, equate having a credit score with it being something that is from the North American scene.
Right.
It really is a best practice, and it's not something to be viewed negatively. If you manage your credit well, it opens doors for you that you didn't even know were possible.
Okay.
So I really want to encourage everyone to at least access your free credit report so you can see where you're at, not at the point when you're ready to apply for a mortgage or a car loan.
Okay.
Just get it now so you can assess your financial situation.
Okay.
When we said have a true and deep conversation with yourself, it involves knowing what your credit score is and how you can take steps to fix it,
And
if it requires fixing.
And this will actually affect possibly every single aspect of your life financially.
Financially, and perhaps beyond financially. So as it is now, on the North American scene, credit scores can prevent you from getting a job, depending on the field that you're entering.
So we have financial institutions now that require you to get a credit report, because remember, it's the behavior of the individual that you're looking at.
It's really just whether you can manage your money and if you keep
Yes.
your promises.
Exactly. Right.
Exactly.
Right. So
And even rent. I mean, you're going to see in North America now, landlords request that you produce a credit report when you're renting, and as such, we might start to see that type of behavior and process happening out here pretty soon.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Now, with the advent of these credit bureaus in Jamaica, are you seeing a shift in terms of how Jamaicans are treating credit and your credit score?
Of course.
Okay.
So, based on the fact now that most financial institutions utilize a credit score or a credit report in the risk assessment process, what we're finding out now is that a lot of customers are asking, how can I make my credit better if it's not where you want it to be? They want to be a low risk customer, very low risk customer, because of the opportunities it creates. So, there's a lot of self-correction happening in the market now, because, banks, financial institutions, nobody wants a non-performing portfolio. So, there's a lot of encouragement. Alison mentioned, if you feel like you can't service your loans this month, reach out to the financial institutions, have them work out a program, so you get a moratorium, or you get a pause, or you get a freeze, or an extension, or restructuring of the loan, to ensure that one, the portfolio is non-performing, and two, you as a customer and individual are not negatively affected in the future to get credit.
Right. Now, I can clearly see that we're getting some insight into what's happening, in Jamaica with our financial institutions, and of course, our finances on a whole, and our financial decisions now will actually either make or break you in terms of your future.
Correct.
Wow,
Yes.
okay. Make or break those goals now. As Alison and Matthew will agree, managing your debt means managing your future. Right? So you have to manage your debt to manage your future. And I asked you guys a lot of questions, but I'm sure our viewers have some questions for you. So let's take some questions about managing debt and getting and keeping that good credit score.
Yes.
Right? Making sure that we can get a good credit report. So my first question is VMBS, it's gone, okay. Is VMBS willing to assist someone with poor credit?
So poor credit is a misnomer, and as Matthew mentioned, we can take steps to fix the credit. What that requires from you is to have a discussion with us. VMBS is an institution that prides itself on being all-inclusive. Our mantra is inclusivity for all Jamaicans here in the diaspora. Come in and have a conversation with us. What led to you having this poor credit? Is your poor credit as a result of pulling down a credit report from the credit bureau, or you're assuming that you have poor credit? So let's start by getting the credit report. Contact us. Let's have a discussion. Let's see how we can work through that poor credit. One thing that we didn't mention before is that poor credit is not a life sentence. Every 7 years, it's 7 years?
7 years, right.
Every 7 years that your credit is replaced. So you've had bad credit in the past, we give you the credit bureaus give you the opportunity to show where you are making steps to improve it, and with constant payments and you sticking to the plan that is agreed, we can actually lend you additional loan facilities once we see that you are making an effort.
Okay.
So let's have a discussion.
All right. Open, honest communication. All right. Next question. What level credit do you need to have for mortgage approval? A, B, C, etc.
Right. Let me start first.
Yes.
So
Okay.
the credit score ranges from 250, 280 to 900. A good credit score is around 600. So 280 to 900, we're utilizing something similar to North America, which is the FICO score. So it is a 3-digit number. It's based on a lot of variables that would have mentioned before, and a good credit score is usually from about 600 up.
Okay.
So, again, the credit bureau, we don't determine if you get access to the credit. What we're giving to the financial institutions is the ability to look at the behavior, and then they work out their internal processes to determine if they're going to extend credit to you.
So based on what you said, just to dovetail, the credit score is only one aspect of determining eligibility for a mortgage. So earlier when I spoke about the debt service ratio, we also have to look at that. So you could have a good credit score, but in terms of debt financing, you are already leveraged to the maximum 45 or 40% of your gross income. So you might not be able to take on additional debt load now, but then we can look at it and plan for the future.
Okay, and I mean, that will help in determining whether or not you're even able to get a pre-approval letter.
Accurate.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Correct.
Next question I have. In a time such as this, when some persons have small amounts on their pay, I mean, we've been seeing a lot of pay cuts,
yes.
with a number of institutions, right? And may fall behind on some debts. How would that affect my credit report?
So we are the custodians of data. If you're not paying your loan properly and it is reported to us, it will negatively affect your score. What we're seeing now, and we've been working with all financial institutions, including VMBS, is that a lot of FIs are offering MOUs, payment holidays, and skips. What we recommend is that in the event that you feel like you've received a pay cut, you can't service your loan, reach out to the institution, get onto the payment holiday structure, and ensure that the information reported to us does not negatively affect you. If you don't reach out to the financial institutions and they report negative information to the bureau, then it will negatively affect your score.
Okay.
Have a discussion with us.
It's really just a discussion.
So you should have a discussion, because once we receive it, we're going to have to process it. Right, and we know that it is hard times, but we still have to work on the information that we receive.
You just have. Okay.
Correct.
All right. Next question. I have a new TRN number that has no credit history. Can I still buy a car? I do have stable funds coming in.
I'm a little confused about the new TRN number, because if it is that, I'm assuming that there was something with your former TRN and you've received a new one, but then the credit bureau would be able to tie the previous TRN with the current TRN, so your history would not be lost. Is that accurate?
Kind of, yes. Well, no, because you really shouldn't be. You shouldn't have two different TRNs. So my assumption is that this is somebody who just received just the TRN.
So
Let's make that assumption. Just enter adulthood.
Okay.
Right. So if you have no credit history, then when VMBS comes to us for history, they won't get anything. So what would happen is VMBS and the customer would have to work out a program, a plan, to determine, how
the income is actually
it might just be based on DSR, and just coming into adulthood, just getting a TRN and whatever the case is, does not put you at a disadvantage to get a loan. Right? Yes, you don't have any credit history, but there are processes in place that businesses will do to ensure that they can at least extend credit to you.
Exactly. So, for example, you have just matriculated from tertiary institution.
Right.
You have landed a contract with an institution that says, we are offering John Brown a 4-year contract and this is going to be the salary. Then we would not expect you, having just come out of college, if you self-finance, to have credit history. So we look at you as an individual, right? So there is no pockets that we put each person in. It's about having a discussion, and we assess the risk, and we try to assist you as best as possible. So that person not having a credit history is not necessarily a negative based on age and their personal circumstances.
So it's not something where I have to wait until I build up my credit score to be able to even get a loan for a car or to even try to get a loan for anything.
Accurate. Because the truth is, you can't wait to build up your credit score. Accessing the car loan is building up the credit score.
Okay.
Right. So it's taking the action that is going to lead up to the outcome of you actually having a credit score.
And VM will actually assist you.
Yes.
in that.
Yes.
Okay. What is my next question? I live in the US, have a credit report here, don't have any credit in Jamaica. I do have a TRN. What do I need to do to establish myself in Jamaica? Would you be able to pull reports from overseas?
So we actually ask the clients to pull their own report, which we would fact check on the back end, and they can send us any of the big three that they draw down in the US. Not having credit, not being in Jamaica currently does not mean that you don't have a credit history.
Right.
As we said, there's a 7-year period. So retroactively, you could have had something depending on when you migrated. So we'd still need to check it here locally, and we will use the credit report that you have overseas.
Okay.
And we will use that to determine what you want to do and how best to assist you. So it's pretty easy to establish yourself. Go to our website, send us our contact information, let us reach out to you. I have processed transactions, mortgages and car loans for persons that I've never met. Yes. So we can do a lot of things remotely, and we were able to do that before. Now we're doing it a lot more in this type of environment.
I was just about to say, it's so difficult to reach persons who, I mean, when you want to do business with persons in the bank, you want to probably have a conversation
Yes.
versus just sending an email, typing a letter, because, you know, it seems like a bit informal, and you want to just...
And you want the real-time question and answer, right?
You actually want that.
So
and
guess
we
what?
desire that
We have that
sometimes.
solution. We actually have a member engagement unit that is open 7 days per week, and you can speak on a live chat, or you can call them toll-free from North America, from the UK, from anywhere really, and we'll pick up the tab and just have a discussion with you. We can do pre-qualifications via the phone. You can have real-time questions answered, and we can just ensure that you are fully satisfied and you leave feeling as if you now have a sense of direction of what you need to do to get where you need to get to.
Okay, I know you had mentioned that they would be the ones to actually pull the credit report and
Right.
take it to you. I don't know, John Matthew, do you guys have access to that kind of information, and can you get access to that kind of information?
I mean, we can broker in our partnership, but technically what happens is that when you are abroad, you get your own credit report and you give it to the financial institution, and they are the ones now who, they do the risk assessment. We do provide information abroad though, but it's not really bureau to bureau, it's more bureau to financial institution. And that would be the same arrangement where, your financial institution, Bank of America, Chase, whoever it is, would provide a report to VM.
Okay.
Correct.
Next question, how detailed is the credit report? Will it show instances of default reported by a financial institution? What if there is an error on the reports? I think that's
Two questions. Yes,
so let's deal with the
first part. All right.
Right? The detailed, or is it actually 3? So how detailed is the credit report? Let's
Let's start there. So the credit report has multiple sections, multiple components, from personal information, payment history, credit history, the type of products the type of contracts.
You're going to tell me my blood type is on this credit report.
Blood type,
Well,
your age, your
your address, your phone number. And then so there's a lot of information, 7 years worth of data, depending on how many years you have been in some type of loan agreement or payment agreement with an institution. So all that information is on the credit report, depending on how many loans you have and the tenure, it can be pages upon pages. But the fact is that we have every single transaction that you would have done, the payment history. So every single month we get a report, or 2 weeks we get a report from a financial institution. It is logged and it forms a part of your report, so anybody can look at all the payment history, all the credit types, when they're open, when they were closed, the number of inquiries. So, depending on how many inquiries you have in a short time period, that can also affect the credit score, right? So that means you're shopping, but at the same time it's also not good, depending on how much it is abused. But the fact is that there's a lot of information on the report that we do have on you as an individual.
Sounds like a lot.
Part 1.
Yes, that's part 1. So next part of the question, will it show instances of default reported by financial institutions?
Yes, it will. So it shows, on the report it will show you graphically where you would have missed payment. It also shows the number of days that you are past due on each contract. And all that information is available to the financial institution that you are going into some agreement with to get credit facility.
So it is there.
It's there, and it is there. Even so, what we need to understand is that even if you clear off the bad debt now, the fact is that you had past due payments. So you did pay it off, but we are going to show that historically you did have a couple months where you were not paying. Right.
Yes. And the final part of the question, what if there is an error on the report?
So yes, so there is a process that we have in place now with all the subscribers, or all what we call credit information providers, which can be again a bank, credit union, building society, etc. And when you get your report, that's why we're encouraging you to get your credit report, your free credit report every year, and you see some misrepresentation of your history, you can file a dispute. We have direct communication and connection with all the financial institutions, so we'll reach out to them via the application form, and then a dispute is raised, a query is done, and if it is correct, they will send us the corrections, and your credit report will be corrected, your score will be adjusted, and the financial institution will get a copy of your new credit report, and you will also receive a copy of your new credit report.
We have more questions coming in. If you have no credit history, would it be a good move to take a loan against savings, lowest interest rate?
It depends on what it is you would like to finance. So if it is that you are going to finance a holiday, you might have enough in your savings. If you're going to finance a mortgage, a home purchase rather,
use a car, for example.
So use a car.
Yeah.
If it is that you have the funds and this is not you locking away your emergency funds in a loan, then I would encourage you. It's always best to try and access loan financing, whether it's from yourself or an institution, at the lowest possible interest rate. So if you use the car as the collateral, the interest rate will be higher naturally than if you were to use your own savings. In Victoria Mutual, we offer what is called a cash secured loan. So in essence, you're getting a loan that is secured by the cash that you have
already.
So if this is not the cash that you're going to use as your emergency funds, as your go-to if something is amiss in your financial life, then by all means, go right ahead and finance it yourself.
Okay.
We just want to ensure that you have some amount of liquidity and flexibility to deal with any changes or shocks that might come to you financially. So for example, a lot of persons did not know, when nobody knew, that we would be living in the era of COVID-19, right?
Not at all.
As the earlier question said, a lot of persons are taking cuts in their salary. So you would not know that. So if it is that you had used your only source of savings to finance debt, then it means that you would be in a situation that's a little perilous now. So you might need to relook at that.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Next question. Can checking credit score often be a red flag or for financial institutions when applying for a loan?
So yes, and it depends. If it's a self-report, like I'm getting my own credit report, then really and truly it does not, it has to be a lot of times for it to really negatively affect you. But if you have multiple institutions checking your credit report, those are what we call inquiries, and financial institutions do look at it in a negative way because it means that you're shopping or you have extended yourself based on your loan obligations and credit facilities. So it's something that, and Alison can speak more to it, but it is something that financial institutions look at in a negative way when you have a lot of queries in a short time period.
Okay.
Right.
Because one thing that persons aren't aware of, most persons aren't aware of, is that when we actually submit to the credit bureau to get your credit report, we have to send the type of facility that you're asking about, we have to send the loan term that you're asking about, and we have to send the amount. Right.
Okay.
So when we have 4 different institutions sending this up and those amounts vary, it's going to say, hey, we really need to have a discussion with this person.
Something is wrong.
Something is wrong. Something is off.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if you guys have a flashing light when that happens. a big red X that comes on it and says, ah!
No, it's not a big red X. So similar to how we're encouraging you to have a conversation, we would initiate a conversation with you, having received the report and having gone through and seen this notification. So it's hey, Talia, what's happening? Recognize that you've gone to 3 different places.
Yeah, just don't start flashing in your face or a red X.
No.
Something is wrong. All right, next question. How can you come back from bad debt in spite of the worldwide impact of COVID-19 on jobs?
So you can come back from bad debt by taking charge of the debt, truthfully. Ignorance is not bliss in this situation.
True.
You need to find out what's the status of the debt, how in arrears are you, How much do you owe? Is there a repayment plan that is available to you? Can you restructure your current living arrangements? Can you cut down on some things? A lot of persons now find themselves saving money, not because of anything that they have done, but because of the macroeconomic environment. Entertainment activities are down, dining out is down somewhat, traveling is down somewhat.
Right.
So you can now use this time. So yes, some things have been negatively affected, but there are some positives too.
But then all the money go back in the
Restructure.
supermarket.
Because you have to more.
Yes.
And the light bill.
Working and you always eat.
And the AC on and the light bill just start go.
Instead of ordering the food, get your culinary skills up. Right.
Okay.
So we need you to really look at your debt, look at your current lifestyle, find out what you can do differently. Opportunities that have abounded in this era, for example, things like making masks. So many persons didn't know they could make masks, and they now have a market for it. So repurpose your skill, repurpose your products, repurpose yourself. Find ways that you can just reevaluate what is happening and see if you can come with better product offerings. It's not okay to just roll over and die, because we're going to beat this and we're going to come out stronger.
Right. And I would like to add to that as well. So, you know, there's always an opportunity to fix your credit. The best one is just pay on time. So you miss some days, you miss some months per se, you know, start to pay on time. When we start to get that information, your score is going to get recalculated. And as you build it up and you work out a program with the financial institution, VMBS, to fix the bad payment and bring it back up to your regular schedule, then your credit score over time will be corrected and you'll start to trend up.
Okay, I have a question though. In terms of trending up, for example, you have this bad credit score going and going, and you decide to make a turnaround and change things. How soon can I get my credit up? So say, for example, how soon can I get my credit from a 300 to a 700?
That's a big jump.
Yeah, man.
So
I'm ambitious. So how soon can I get that?
well, so I don't have a timeline on that, because there are multiple factors.
5 months, a year? Do I need the entire 7 years until in the road?
No. So I'd want to say that at a maximum a year. A year, because after a year there's usually some corrections that will happen in your score. Depending on how many days past due you were though, that determines again how quickly the score is corrected. So if it's just 31 days, 1 month, and you start to pay, then usually you get corrected quickly. But supposing you 180 days, 270 days past due, then it's going to take a long time, because what we're going to see is that yes, you're cutting down on the days past due, but you're still owing. You still have a large balance outstanding that was not based on the terms that you would have signed up to.
Okay, and then after that, I start making a turnaround, the trend will just start changing then, and the score would actually automatically start changing.
Correct.
So Talia, just to add, it's really usually a year, so it's 12 months, because it's short enough so that you can defer your goals somewhat, and it's long enough so we can see that you are committed and your behavior has changed. So it's usually 12 months for us to see that, yes, you're sticking to the plan.
You don't need a whole 7 years to start.
No.
12 months is good enough.
Yes.
All right, next question. Is it the same procedures when checking credit reports from members who live abroad?
So from my side, yes, once you have a TRN, so the TRN is what we use to uniquely identify the customer, or what we call the subject. So once you have a TRN, you can go online, jm.creditinfo.com, and you can go through the process to get your free credit report.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any other questions? Okay. One more. Kindly repeat the website for accessing my credit score.
Sure, I said it too fast. It's jm.creditinfo.com, or you can Google Credit Info Jamaica.
Credit Info Jamaica. All you have to do is Google. And I'm sure, Alison, if I have some more information about managing my debt, and I think that Victoria Mutual can help me, whether you give me a loan, I just get my TRN, brand new, and I want to start life, you want to give me some advice, where can I get some information from Victoria Mutual about managing my debt?
So you can actually reach out to us. We have several touch points. So of course we have our branch network, 16 branches. But in the era of discouraging physical contact and practicing social distancing, we're encouraging persons to reach out to us on our website, vmbs.com. You can reach out to us through our social media pages. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram at Victoria Mutual Group. And we, as I mentioned earlier, we have our member engagement center, which is our call center. They're open 7 days per week, so we can have these discussions You can actually, if you're ready to apply for the loan, you can actually go to our website and click on apply for a loan. You can actually do the entire loan application process digitally.
Okay.
So we're the first in Jamaica to offer that, and it's a beautiful website, and
Sure,
it
your
walks
answer
you
is
through.
fast. The answer is fast, right?
Yes.
Quick response.
Quick response, quick turnaround time.
Thank God.
Quick turnaround time. So we have several ways that you can reach out to us, and we will put you in touch with financial service specialists like Andel, so you can have that discussion and that guidance from our experts.
All right, John Matthew and Alison, thank you so much for
Sure.
sitting with
Thanks
us.
for having me.
I'm sure
Thanks for
after
having
listening to this presentation, we've realized that managing debt is really a process.
Yes.
It's a process, right? We have to just choose what is right for us, what's practical for us, and what actually just works for you and
Yes.
your situation, right? As well as we have to be responsible with our decisions.
Yeah, man.
Now, a motor vehicle is just as good as a decision, right? It's no different. So let's check out part 2 of our Auto Partners feature with our guest, our happiness officer, right? Mr. Christopher Johnny Daly. Let's see what he's up to.
So I'm with Tanisha and Samantha from Kia Jamaica, and they have 2 vehicles here. So we decided to talk to both of them. Ladies, how you doing? Everything's good?
We're doing great.
Awesome. So we're here today to, of course, let Jamaicans know that they can get a brand new ride and they can walk in and be happy. Talk to me about all the specials offered right now from Kia Jamaica.
All right, so for right now, we have the Lucky 21 promotion with Victoria Mutual. It's excellent. You need to come on down, take advantage of it right now. You can have your very own Kia Seltos.
Lucky 21 promotion. Talk to me a little bit more about that.
All right, so with the Lucky 21 promotion, you can have no monthly payments until 2021. You can actually have 0 processing fees, or we could actually take care of your insurance for 1 year.
Awesome. So come to VM, and of course, we can make you happy with these awesome deals. Talk to me about the brand new cars, about these 2 Kias that are parked right here.
Problem. So we do have 2 of our lovely models here. We have our crossover SUV, which is our Seltos, and it's a 1.6 liter engine, very fuel efficient, and it's a 5-seater. Also, the lovely Sportage, which is our compact SUV. It's a little bit bigger. Oh.
This is the Sportage, yes?
This is our Sportage. It's our 5-seater, and it's a 2-liter engine. So you can get this specific model here starting at this for only $52,300
per month. So Kia Jamaica is, of course, one of the places you can go to get your brand new ride, courtesy, of course, and through VMBS. So I'm with Eric and Sean. Both of them are senior sales executive from Audi, and they must have helped with the pronunciation a while ago, Audi. So Eric, good afternoon again. Thank you so much for being a part of this wonderful VM effort. How are you enjoying the day so far?
Well, it's pretty good so far.
Talk to me about these wonderful hybrids that you have on display today.
So today we are actually displaying the new 2020 Audi Q7. It's actually, the shape has changed, our facelift for 2020. It has a number of features, number of benefits as well, included a mild hybrid engine. It also has adaptive air suspension, include a digital dashboard as well. So all those new features and benefits is making it quite a new car, quite an interesting purchase in terms of the large SUV market.
Our partnership with VMBS, we do have give customers an opportunity where they can actually come in and get assistance, where we have a Lucky 21 promotion where you could get anywhere between 3 to 6 months payment holiday. We will assist you with the processing fee as well. You get a reduction. Also, we offer you financing with your insurance as well.
So I'm now with Simon and Camila from, of course, ATL Honda Automotive. You know the thing already. And I want to talk to them about these great cars that I have here on display today. Simon? Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for having us.
Tell me about these cars you have here on display from Honda.
Well, what we have here today is both the 2020 Honda CR-V and the 2020 Honda HR-V beside my lovely co-worker Camila. Of course, 2 of which are in the SUV category, one being a crossover, one being a mid-size SUV for the entire family.
Now, Camila, you're partnering with VM, of course, to ensure that customers are happy driving their own vehicles. What kind of deals can people expect at this time? Of course, you know, COVID-19 was just with us, so what kind of deals you can expect at this time from Honda?
So you can get assistance with the insurance, assistance with the processing fee, you can get payment holiday, or even a combination of all 3.
What about the features on these cars that we have here?
Well, I mean, generally speaking, what you can expect out of both of these vehicles are all of your modern day essentials. So ranging from your Bluetooth and hands-free capabilities, reverse sensors, your touchscreen display, and as well as that, of course, small things such as your LED daytime running lights to make sure that your vehicle always looks good when you're driving past.
So I'm with Anya McGlashan from the ATL Autobahn family, and of course this car needs no introduction, Anya.
None at all.
Right? None at all, right?
None at all.
Talk to me about this BMW X5 that you have at ATL Autobahn.
This X5 is actually our brand newly designed X5. It came out for the 2019 model year. This is the 2020 that we have on sale right now. Well, I mean, Chris, the truth is, it's $170,000 for 100% financing. We also pay no processing fees, and we give you $100,000 towards your insurance. So literally, all you have to do is process through VMBS and you just drive out your vehicle.
Sounds reasonable to me. What are some of the great features offered in this X5?
The features, well, it now has a larger kidney grille here. It opens and closes as air is needed, which is good for aerodynamics. Our biggest safety feature on here as well is our run flat tires on all fours. They're 19-inch wheels, very comfortable ride. With the run flat tires, if you have tire pressure loss or a busted tire, you can drive on the flat tire for up to 200 kilometers. Very fuel efficient. You're looking at over 50 miles to the gallon.
Over 50 miles to the gallon, and of course you heard her. All you need to do is just walk into a VM, and of course we'll get you happy in this X5. All right, so we've just been joined by Brandon from the ATL Autobahn family. Brandon, tell me about this car.
All right, so this particular one is actually very special. What you're looking at is a Cooper S with a John Cooper Horse package. So just like how BMW has their M package, Mini has their John Cooper Horse package. That's the highest performing Mini that you can buy. So what this does for you is to give you a whole different design from your front bumper to your back diffuser, as well as a little bit of a spoiler on the back. So that adds to the aerodynamics of the car, in theory giving you a better performing vehicle. What's special about it, what makes it an S, is the engine. So you have a 2-liter twin power turbo engine, outputting 192 horsepower, 280 Newton meters of torque, which basically means, so that me and you can understand that this car will go from 0 to 100 in just 7.4 seconds.
I know they call it a Mini, but one of the things that the countryman particularly boasts about is the amount of space that's on the inside.
Exactly. So you can comfortably fit 5 people in here with no problem. But knowing Jamaicans, you can probably throw in an extra one. I mean, it's a very spacious vehicle, and a lot of people have the misconception when they hear Mini, they immediately think a small car, but by no means is a Countryman small. It will do the job. It's the most practical vehicle that we have in Mini right now, and you should just come and do a test drive, see for yourself, see what we have to offer. Okay, so this particular unit right now, we have a special. It's for $6.995, and you get a few things with that. So of course you get in the 3-year service and warranty, and we have the most extensive warranty and service package in the entire island. So that much I can guarantee you. You will save some money with that. You also get $100,000 towards the insurance, which will cover a majority of your insurance certificates. You also get no processing fees with you guys, of course, and no payments until January 2021.
All right, so we have, of course, Dwayne and Ricardo here. They are sales reps from VW, and we know these brands, of course, are world-class brands. Dwayne, talk to me about these vehicles you have here on display and some of the great features, of course, that they have.
Happy to. No, listen, I would like to brag and say this vehicle you're looking on is literally the king of the hill, the Volkswagen Amarok. This has the most powerful engine in the market for a mid-size pickup. It is the 3-liter turbo diesel pickup, turbo diesel engine, 300 horsepower, over 400 foot-pounds of torque. This vehicle can tow over 3 tons. Its payload for carrying weight, 1.5 tons. It has the largest cabin space in this class. It has heavy-duty road suspension. It has reinforced columns.
Ricardo, I noticed he has totally ignored this vehicle over here, but of course, he's selling the muscle car. But what are you selling with this one right here?
All right, so today we have the Tiguan Allspace as well. It comes in 6 different packages. Our entry-level package starts at $5,995, and of course, we are partnered with VMBS, as Dwayne had mentioned, so that makes even at entry level all the way up to the R line, which is the top of the line one, very, very affordable.
let's talk about some of the things that really make the Tiguan very, very reliable. Safety, reinforcement from front to back, 360 sensor, reverse camera is a consistent feature right all the way up to our line. So pretty much from entry level, you're getting all that you need, value for money.
I can tell you hands up, Victoria Mutual is an awesome bank. They're very, very professional in what they do, and we're providing a service where people are spending their hard-earned money.
And as we say at VM, you're driving out happy.
You're driving out happy. That is the intention.
Absolutely. So we're talking happiness. You can get the Amarok or the Tiguan. It doesn't matter. Speak to, of course, Ricardo or Dwayne and make sure you leave happy. Thank you so very much, gentlemen. Woo! Yes, how was that? I hope you saw a car of your choice and you're ready to make a purchase. Make sure you come into BM, right? Victoria Mutual is a place to be. Now, wow, that was hot outside. We actually have a cooling station here on the inside, so you know I'm looking all fresh right now for the final segment. But before we get into the final segment, you know it's all about bringing the happiness, and I'm very happy to ask a question for a giveaway right now. So a lucky person will win an awesome, in fact not an, in fact 3 prizes. We're talking about a gift certificate valued at $5,000 courtesy of Victoria Mutual, this wonderful gift basket you see right here, and an entire house. Yeah, but the house is actually in this bag right here. You know, sorry, get a little bit excited. The house is a replica, and it's inside this bag from our friends at the National Housing Trust. All right, here's the question, right? Drum roll, please. See if somebody can win this one. What's the maximum amount of financing offered by Victoria Mutual when they're talking about mortgages? Maximum amount of financing offered. Maximum, how much? And I want it in percentages. How much? Who's giving me the answer? First, maximum amount of financing offered by Victoria Mutual when it comes to mortgage loans. Do we have a winner already? Guys, I know some sharp people are watching and they're ready to answer this question here. Still waiting on the team. Do we have a winner? I believe we do. And it is Claudine Mitchell. That's the winner. Claudine Mitchell is the winner. Okay, hold on. I want to get the answer, Claudine. Somebody give me the answer, please. Somebody give me the answer. I want to make sure that we get an answer. Talk to me. Who's a winner? What's the number? There's a magical number that you need to say. And I want to make sure you hit that number. The maximum amount of financing, mortgage financing offered by Victoria Mutual. Can you tell me who's first? It's an easy one, nothing, people. And we've been promoting this. So it's pretty simple. I always say we go hard for our clients. So talk to me. Who's the winner? Who's the winner? All right.
You finishing something, sir?
Yes, I'm hearing you. What's the answer? Who is this? Hello? Hello? I'm not getting the answer. Lots of people joining. All right. No, you know what? I'm going to allow the team, of course, who's with me to get the answer. Stay online. The first person who gets the answer correct will certainly win these awesome prizes that we have here this afternoon. In the meantime, we're moving to a final segment this afternoon of our very first Home and Auto Web-Expo. And this is a segment. All right, we have a winner. Tell me now, now get me. Rikisha Johnson. Hello? Rikisha? Hello? All right, I'm obviously not so technically savvy, so here what people, the team out there can manage that. Please ensure that the people win because a lot of persons apparently are trying to win this one. Maximum amount of financing offered by Victoria Mutual when it comes to loans for mortgages. All right? All right, moving to the final segment, and I'm excited because we're talking happiness, we're talking home ownership, and you know what? I'd like to invite right now on set some very, very important people who can help me out in this final segment. So, Mr. Damien Nicholson, he is the assistant manager in the business banking division. Welcome, sir. Welcome on set, sir. Yes, but them sir, so you have to be
right here, right
yes,
here.
sir. Also, Jermaine Williamson, he's a senior valuer at Victoria Mutual Property Services. Welcome, Jermaine. We got myself, my general. And we have Mr. Dwayne Burbick. He is a corporate and public affairs manager at the National Housing Trust. Well, my general. And we have a very familiar name to me, Leighton Smith, not the comedian, This man is no comedian. He's actually a very important VM representative, the VMBS UK Chief Representative Officer, will be joining us online all the way from the UK. Gentlemen, it is an absolute pleasure to have you here. You've been enjoying the expo so far? Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome, right?
Definitely.
Awesome,
Definitely.
yes, man. And of course, Talia is doing an awesome job, and the rest of the presenters as well. Damien, I'm going to start with you. And I want to start with you, Damien, by asking you, owning a property is usually one of those decisions that it's a goal. It's one of those goals you want to achieve. And this is, I guess, the first question for me. Who exactly can own a home? Who is that for?
All right. So I love where you put it. You know, it's a dream. It's an ultimate goal, I would put it. Because it's one of the only assets that will allow you to get other assets. It allows you, through equity, which is your stake of ownership in the property, to access other assets. But the second part of your question now, who can own a home? Anyone can. Once you are dedicated, you are working, you are saving, and you are seeking the information. All right? And at VM Group, we are here to give you your keys to your home.
All right, so I'm working. I've been saving.
Yes.
And I'm a pretty dedicated person, but I'm not sure when is the right time. When is the right time?
All right. The right time. You work to the right time. Because with accessing a property, it is not like purchasing, say, a pair of shoes or food or whatever short-term transaction.
Right.
It is a process. So what I would advise that individual to do first is to contact us at VMBS. Give us the price of the property that they would want to purchase. Also, give us an idea of the area. Then what we would do is do what is called a pre-qualification process. And this process is where we assess that person's income versus their expenses to see if they have a debt service, which is, as I said, the income versus the expenses, that will allow them to access the property for the value that they're trying to seek.
Right. So what are some of the things then I should expect when once I push that door through VM? You know what I mean? In terms of once I'm decided to make the purchase. So I'm coming to VM and I want to make the purchase. I feel I'm ready. I've saved up all the money. What are some of those things the experiences I should be expecting to have?
All right. So the experience, touch points. You could come to a branch. However, it's COVID time now.
Right.
So we have, you can contact us online or be in contact with us online through www.manager@vmbs.com. Also, you could send an email or start to upload your application through vmbs.mymortgage-online.com, right? But now, for the physical aspect of it now, say you come into the branch, you would have been greeted by a warm and welcoming financial services specialist who would have taken you through the steps. So look, it would have run a little bit like this then. So you go in, start, and you say, all right, so Nicholson, I need a property and I need it now. So that's one of the questions, or one of the statements, sorry, that always come. I need a property and I need it now.
Right.
And one of the unfortunate things is that as Jamaicans, we have, I don't want to say an honors in procrastinating, but yes, there's a tendency to procrastinate. So what you'll find is that the person who comes to you probably don't have any savings at all towards the process, but they know that me and the landlord kick off yesterday and I need to move. No.
Today. So that brings me to the point of pre-qualification. How do I know that I'm
all right. So what you take to us is your last 3 pay slips, and what we'll do is look at it versus the property, the cost of the property that you want to purchase, and once you come out with what we call a favorable debt service ratio, then we would say, all right, this is your deposit that you need. If it is that you're not qualified for 100%, we would say this is the deposit that you need to save and the closing costs, because those are 2 costs that you will incur in most instances that are very important. They can be the difference between you starting or you stuck.
I like the scenario that you pitched up. I'm ready to leave. The landlord and me have problems. And you've identified the land that you want to, because that's a key piece of land or house.
Yes.
But you're coming now to BN and you check out your pre-qualification status, but you realize that cost of that home or that property is a little bit too far-fetched from where you're qualified for it. You understand? What do you do? Do you leave that property alone, or do you sit back and wait? What's your recommendation?
All right. So the funny thing with properties is that if you are not ready for it, someone else would be ready for it. So what we'd try to do is sober that person's expectation a bit and provide advice. So now, things that I've seen some of my clients do, right? One, some people might live in an apartment that they've rented.
Right.
Some go back to their parents' house, and that 50 or 60,000 that they would have paid on a monthly basis becomes what we call savings. And I know that most of our viewers would have seen I Save for Home with Coach Victor. Drop and give me 5, right? And that is a very good way to go about it, because guess what? If you don't have that deposit and closing, you need to be doing some things.
Right.
One, you need to be doing consistent monthly savings or fortnightly savings. However you get paid, whether it's monthly, fortnightly, or you get paid per contract for persons or self-employed. And it needs to be dedicated savings. So you see that I Save for Home product, it provides consistency and dedication, and it's time bound. So you know that within a year or a year and a half, if you're not able to get the property, you could attempt again, because then you would have had your pre-qual, which would have given you some guidance as to what you would have been qualified for, and what's your target number, right? And then you would have then now have the deposit and closing costs.
So you're much more ready.
So you're ready,
decided to pull back,
right,
to move even further ahead.
to move further.
What are some of the things to think about when you're looking at either applying as a single applicant or joint applicancy? What really should you focus on?
I love when you touch that one. So a mortgage is specific to each individual. You don't have two individuals or a number of individuals that have the same situation. That's why you are assessed individually. However, in some instances, you have a couple,
Yes.
right? But the husband or the wife can't carry that loan by themselves, right? What we do is to advise them that they can do a joint mortgage. However, though, it is very important and prudent that they know that if it is that after doing the assessment, any changes in their salary occurs, they would have to be reassessed. Yes.
This is Jamaica, so
Mhm.
we know that a lot of relationships are common law, which is in law, and then they're married. So it kind of common law relationship. Can two persons walk in and say, we've been together for a long time. We're not married, but we'd like to own this home together.
Yes, they can. Definitely can. However, though, as I said, we would have to advise them what they're getting into.
Yeah, because I say, listen up. After 2 years, it's a common law.
And that happens.
Which can happen in a marriage too.
Yeah, in a marriage, in whatever situation. But the ones that we would advise to add someone else is persons who can't qualify by themselves. And then you might have, as I say, whether common law or married couples that want to combine together and get a property.
Before we stop talking to you, Damon, I just wanted to lay out some of the mortgage options offered by Victoria Mutual.
All right, so we have our residential mortgages, we have our commercial mortgages, and a car loan is still a mortgage because you take a mortgage.
Some of them are mortgage for sure.
Yes, and you know, we're in Jamaica. Yes.
You know, some of our people like to go high end. So, yes.
I mean, which is only fair if it is that you are qualified. Yes, once you're qualified. Also, we have Dwayne, and one of the best things, our partnership, is what we call a joint mortgage finance program, right? Whereas VM acts as a one-stop shop where members or prospective members can come in and access their NHT benefit without even going down to Dwayne.
Yes,
right?
I'm glad you segued to Dwayne because we're going to be talking to him.
Yes.
Right now, of course, Dwayne is representing the National Housing Trust. Welcome, Mr. Berbick.
Thanks very much. Well, thank you.
Talk to me about the mortgage solutions offered by the NHT.
Well, the mortgage solutions offered by the NHT, they're wide and they're varied. And to borrow from Damien, they're really tailored to the individual. So each individual has to do their own assessment as to what are the financing options that are available. And I always stress that it starts with a conversation. I know many times people sit back and they say, you know, NHT is not for me, NHT can't help me, but have you ever been down to the branch? Have you ever spoke? No, but them can't help me. No, it starts with a conversation. You sit down and you'll be surprised the raft of policies that the NHT has, ranging from 100% financing for NHT schemes. We have the, no insult to VM, but the lowest interest rates on the market, ranging from as low as 0% to as high as 4%. And as Damien says, we have a lovely joint finance mortgage program with VM, which allows individuals to access their NHT benefit, their 6.5 million, and any amount that they thereafter need. We work out that with VM too.
Can you explain that some more? Because that's one of my questions coming to you about joint financing. When you finish?
I do it now, just in case I forget. The maximum amount the NHT will lend is 6.5 million to any one individual. But based on the individual's home ownership goal, they may require more than that. So what we do is that we make that 6.5 million available at the NHT's interest rate. And the additional amounts that the individual would need, they access that through VM at VM's interest rate. And as Damien said, it's a one-stop shop. So you don't have to come into NHT and submit paperwork for the 6.5 there, and then go back to VM to submit the same set of paperwork to access the additional amounts. It's treated as one joint mortgage.
Okay, so I don't need to physically go down to NHT and also to VM.
No.
I can just come to VM and it's joint, as you say.
Right. You get your NHT benefit at NHT's interest rate, the amounts you're qualified for, and any additional funding that you require, VM makes that available. And similarly with repayment as well.
Right.
It's one payment. You don't have to pay the NHT portion at NHT and then go pay the VM portion at VM. It's one payment as well.
Awesome. How do I know what I'm entitled to?
Okay, it's a very simple process actually. Outside of coming into the branch and sitting down and having a conversation with one of our officers, you can always visit our website. We have a very responsive mortgage calculator where you can put in certain basic socioeconomic data, your age, your income, whether your name is on a title, just some basic questions that we'll ask you via that mortgage calculator. And then we're able to calculate for you how much you would qualify for each benefit that the NHT has. And in addition to that, we take it a step further to also show what would likely be your monthly repayment. So Damien pointed out the importance of research, that you really need to go into this home ownership thing knowing what exactly you're facing. Too often I run into people who say, Mr. Burbett, want a house. What kind of house? Me no know. Where? Me no know. Me just want one house. No, it doesn't quite work like that. There's some amount of work that the individual has to put in.
I want a big house with 12 bedrooms.
Oh, yes.
And then you say, okay, how much you earn? Not so much, but then, you don't do any research. The big house with the 12 bedrooms might not be.
Research gives you that reality check. Yes. It makes you go to the market knowing, one, what exactly you can afford, where exactly you can afford, because in real estate, location. A 2-bedroom in Mandeville is not the same as a 2-bedroom up Jacksale. It's not the same as a 2-bedroom in Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth. It will vary from location to location. So research is very, 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 very important in home ownership.
All right. And how long does it take for me to qualify for a loan? Come to the NHT.
Well, if you're able to, having looked at the mortgage calculator, having gone to the market and you've identified something, then it's a quick process. You come in with some basic paperwork that we require initially, pay slips, proper identification to make sure that doing is doing and doing is not James posing as doing. We check those things first, and once we get through that, we'll give you your pre-qualification letter. Thereafter, depending on the type of unit you're buying or the type of housing solution that you're getting, there may be some additional things that would require, ranging from valuation reports, surveyor's ID reports, that kind of thing. But to access an NHT benefit, generally, the criteria is simple. You're between the ages of 18 and 65, and you've been contributing for 52 weeks, 1 year.
1 year.
1 year. And at the time that you are applying, you, of course, must be employed, because it is a loan, and a loan is contingent on one's ability to repay that loan. So you must be employed, and you must show contributions being made for you in the last 13 weeks, which is roughly 3 months or so, which is how we get the 3 months pay slip too. Yeah. So once you're between 18 and 65, contributing for a year, gainfully employed, and you've made contributions within the last 3 months, then you can access an NHT benefit.
So you mentioned gainfully employed.
Yes.
You mentioned pay slip.
Yes.
You mentioned that somebody can pay for you. What if you're a self-employed person? You pay yourself.
We have an arrangement with Tax Administration of Jamaica. So persons who are self-employed, they don't make contribution payments directly to the NHT. And whereas Damien, myself, Jermaine, it's our employers who take out the NHT contributions on a monthly basis. With the self-employed individual now, that self-employed individual every quarter has to make their payments to TAJ. And it's based on the income that they would have received or made in the period of assessment. So every quarter, you look at your books, you see how much money you made, you calculate that 3% for NHT, and you make those payments at TAJ.
You might be forced to be a little bit more disciplined, but that's what you have to do.
Right, yes, yes.
Absolutely. So there's an acronym that is screaming here that I want to be explained. CRTD.
Yes.
What exactly is that?
CRTD, it's contribution refunds towards deposit. And I have some friends who tell me that it's the NHD's best policy in our arsenal.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't know how they come to that conclusion because I think we have quite a bit. But contribution refunds towards deposit, simply put, let me explain it. Many times individuals are able to secure the financing for the mortgage. So whether it's through NHD or joint partnership with NHD and VM, individuals can come up with 100% financing to make the purchase for the property. But then the process starts and you realize that the vendor requires a 5 or 10% deposit. You realize that there's a surveyor's ID you need to get, there's a valuation report, there are legal fees associated, and then you go, Lord, I can't bother, this is just too much now. I can't bother, I never calculate all of them little money, and we just add up to more than just a little money. So what the NHD does is that it makes your refunds that are not yet due available to you before time to assist with offsetting those costs. So we make refunds, we do refunds on an annual basis, year by year. So monies are paid over to us, we hold it for 7 years, and in the 8th year, you get a refund. So in 2020, we're refunding 2012 contributions made in 2012. However, if you're buying a house today, the NHT will make 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, I'm saying it slow, 18, 19 available to you to offset those costs. Whether you can put it towards the deposit, the legal fees, any of those costs associated with the purchase. And so we always say the NHT is not a tax. Because the contributions that you've made, they come back to you with a whopping 2% interest per annum.
Yeah.
It's more than you get at some institutions.
So it's one of the ultimate benefits.
Right. So it really is your contributions really becomes a savings instrument when you're making a purchase.
That's pretty awesome. So we're talking about, of course, mortgages, and we've identified the mortgage solution and the process. What about identifying the property? Yes, man, and that is just as important. So without no property, you can have a mortgage, right?
Yeah.
So I want to turn to Jermaine here. Jermaine, would you agree with me that finding the right property is important, just as important as the process of home ownership? Talk to me.
Finding the right property is everything about home ownership. Yeah. But I don't want us to have this conversation only about home ownership, because we have purchases for different reasons.
I was out of questions to ask you, sir.
Yes,
all right, so okay, start there.
So
where do I start?
I want to break it down into two categories.
Right.
So we're talking about owner occupation and investment. And follow those.
All right. So say I'm buying a property, and I don't want this on my home. I want to start with home ownership to occupy said property. Where do I start?
Well, generally, it's good to have a conversation with Damien or Dwayne to have that pre-qualification exercise completed before you start to do the home hunting. It's good to have an idea of what you can afford, so that can set the tone of the conversation when you're speaking to your realtor. But it is always, it's not bad to have a conversation before the pre-qualification, because sometimes people just don't know, and you want to entertain that conversation. Boy, I feel like I need to buy a house, but I don't understand.
So what I hear you saying is that would help you once you have the conversation. That would help you to know, zero in on where your search area can be.
Yeah.
So you know what you can afford.
You're further along.
Right.
Yes.
So and you zero it. So you identify where your range is, and say, you know, I can buy a house in Haven, the Meadowbrook area. That's the area I can afford. What do you do?
So at this point, you will have a series of questions. So it's gonna be a very engaging conversation now with your realtor. And this is where the realtor will basically create a profile of you, right? So we're going to understand your needs and wants. right? So, you know, there are some basic things that people will require in a house, and the questions that we would put to these clients sometimes are, do you have kids? Are you planning to have kids? Your age may be a factor as well, because Dwayne and Damon have pointed out that once you're between 18 and 65, you're looking for a mortgage. Now, are you tending towards retirement? Is it important for you to live close to the hospital? You know that? Is it important for you to be in a location that transportation is very active?
Right.
So we ask these questions to create a profile.
Some people may want to be in a particular area for the school.
Yes.
Schools that are.
School.
Yes.
Some people, you find it now that people like to be close to the beach. Yes.
We're talking about that now.
Yes. You know? So those developments that have access to beaches, they're very attractive.
Let's even dig deeper. Say you've identified that beach property, and you're ready to purchase it. How do I know that the value that's being sold for, that's the actual value for the property? Am I paying too much? How do I know?
So at this point, I always encourage people to engage and experience realtor, preferably a realtor from Victoria Neutral Property Services.
Yes.
It takes the stress and some of the uncertainty out of the picture. So you won't be able to do a valuation of every single property you have an interest in, because it's an expensive venture.
Yes.
So
unless we know Jeremy as a virgin.
So the realtors are intimately involved in the property market. So off the bat, they can tell you if this property is reasonably priced, overpriced, and they will help you to approach the negotiation, because it's always good to negotiate.
Yes.
What you find that some people will do is to get drawn into the competitive nature of the market. But our advice is to put your best foot forward, and your best foot is what you can afford.
Yes.
Comfortably. Sometimes when you overextend yourself, you end up in problems.
Right. So you don't want to make the purchase and then you're house poor. As I said, some people get house poor.
Yeah.
You can't.
That is why the pre-qual is important.
Pre-qual is important. So talking about pre-qual and looking at the property, and then sometimes, you know, a man wants a property, but he must say, boy, can't afford, it's a brand new, I want it brand spanking new, you know, that is his dream, you know, like, I look at doing like a man who want it new, fresh, but then maybe new is not for him. Would an advice from, say, you, from property services be, that's where you would come in to say, maybe new is not what you want, would you?
Well, we wouldn't necessarily say new is not, because new can be for anybody.
Right.
Right? But based on your preference, your urgency as well, because a lot of the new developments, you know, NHT is currently doing several developments, and they're not available for occupation until 8 months, 12 months. So based on your need, you're in your parents' house and you feel like a man, you want to move out.
Yeah, you already know.
Or you want the landlord, not getting a landlord. You're probably getting along with the landlord, but you want to put those funds into your own investment.
That's right.
You understand? So it's based on your urgency. So it's a question of new or pre-owned, right? And I look at pre-owned as sometimes the pre-owned property, a home is not yet complete.
Right.
It can be a fixer. So good to identify these additional expenses that will be coming with this property. And sometimes when you do the viewing and the furniture and all are inside, it's not the same picture when they're out.
Yes, because it's staged for you, and then you buy it because I see what you're saying.
You know, new developments come with their stress as well, because you have sometimes there is, you know, some back and forth with the developer. Some things are not as expected. The tiles are more, the water.
The quality, you find out that the quality of work is not up to scratch.
Yeah, so you know, with both choices, you have
their own issues. Let's stay there. You have experience in the market. You're out there doing the work every day. I see a lot of construction going on, which is a good thing, right? So what's the trend? What are people trending towards in terms of purchasing a property or a home for business? What is the trend? Are they looking at some townhouse properties more? Are they looking to purchase more?
So this question is not a straightforward answer because different locations, there are different development patterns. So, and these are tied to the densities that are allowed in these areas. So, if we start with Kingston first. Kingston, recently the densities across Kingston were revived, and we have now seen a change in the cityscape.
Yes.
They're going vertical,
skyscrapers are going up
so
now.
You want a 2-bedroom home in Kingston, you may have to resort to an apartment. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So so in Kingston, you will be seeing a lot of apartments going up.
Right.
Right. But there's also a trend, and rightfully so, for security. Right. So you find that I don't know if a new development now that is not gated.
Right.
Almost all the new developments are gated because security is a major selling point. Right. There's also a trend towards the North Coast. Right. Nothing wrong with the South Coast, but we find that some of the retirement homes are now being constructed
on the North Coast. That's interesting.
Yes.
That's interesting because there's also an uptick with, for instance, the Airbnb business. I suspect that might also be an influence there as well.
Yes. So that's when we talk about the investment side of purchasing a house or a property.
All right. So let's tell it some more. What are some of the benefits, of course, of coming into VM Property Services and saying, I need your help?
Well, we have a very engaging team at VM Property Services. They are very experienced with the market, and they will take the time to work through the process with you, work through the questions, have you zeroed in on that property that is right for you. And the connection between VMPS and VMBS makes the transition smooth. So we put you through to a mortgage officer, a FSS, and that should save you significant time because it's under one umbrella.
Awesome. So you hear that coming into VM Property Services. You wanted to say?
And I want to add something to that.
Sure.
Once it is that you come into VM to do your pre-qual and you need a valuation, by being a member or a prospect of VM, when you go to Mr. Williamson, Jeremy, right, you would have got a 50% discount on your valuation.
50%.
Okay. So it's a good thing to just keep everything under one roof. Just come in, get the pre-qual, speak to Jeremy.
And you remember what Dwayne said earlier about these little expenses
yes.
that keep popping up they become, like...
And of course, we offer 100% financing, so everything is covered once you come into Victoria Mutual.
Precisely.
Awesome. So thank you very much, Jeremy. Now, of course, we have Jamaicans all over the world, all over the diaspora, and they're watching. And some of them who live also in the diaspora, they want to own property in Jamaica too. They want to own a piece of the rock. And so we have the gentleman, Mr. Leighton. He is, of course, joining from the United Kingdom, the UK. And he is going to talk about the UK and the presence that we have also in Canada. That's Victoria Mutual's presence in the UK and Canada. Leighton and the USA, of course. So we're talking full diaspora representation. Okay, I'm seeing Leighton. There you go. There you go. Sir Leighton, can you see us? Can you hear us?
Can you see us? Can you hear us? I can hear you, but not necessarily see. I was watching on YouTube. How are you?
We are very well. There are the other gentlemen right there, I'm sure. You're still watching on YouTube as well. Leighton, what are the interests and trends among buyers across the diaspora?
Well, again, thank you for having me. Afternoon to my fellow colleagues and my colleague from NHT as well. When it comes to the interest and trends among the buyers of the diaspora, it's similar to what Jermaine just mentioned. But one of the things that we have found that within the last 45 years, there has been an increased interest in property acquisition in Jamaica. And this is largely attributed to one, that of returning residents and where they would like to go. So some not necessarily going in or to the north coast, we're going to the central part of the island, so Clarendon and Manchester. Then something else that drives the trend is whether or not it's an investment opportunity, because there are a lot of persons in the diaspora that are looking for their second or their vacation home.
Yes,
and sometimes they're looking at it from the rental opportunity that can come about given rental yields in Jamaica. Another reason or trend that we see is that of because of the high cost of property acquisition in some jurisdictions, for example, in London or in Canada, and in some states, you find that it's not necessarily that easy to get on the property ladder here or in
Yes.
that country of one's residence. So you tend to find that again they will look in Jamaica. So what are they looking at? As Jermaine indicated, there's a strong interest in gated communities. These completed by the popular, well-known developers. In fact, I sat in two Zoom meetings with Moreland Properties, again, because that's where persons are interested in going. And again, too, if there's nothing readily available or not yet being able to deliver to the market, then what we have found is that persons are willing to go to open market and purchase properties.
Okay, let's us also just state for the record that we're in no way, shape, or form encouraging folks to just to ignore the South Coast, because all of Jamaica is beautiful, and we have wonderful properties all over the island. And the South Coast is actually pretty beautiful as well. I'd love to have a property in St. Elizabeth or somewhere. We're still with you, Leighton. I wanted to ask you, what is the process? Yes, to Canada. I live in the UK. What is the process once I've approached Victoria Mutual to purchase a home or property?
It is pretty similar to what again my colleagues have shared. I was listening to Damien and he said it well. I have to emphasize that it's important for us to
Sorry,
save.
can you repeat that? We had a slight glitch a while ago, Leighton.
Sorry, I was saying that it is important. The starting point is with a savings plan. Save, save, save. It is important that individuals are able to cover the costs associated with property acquisition, that is their deposit and their closing costs. I think you then went next nicely into identifying the right property. So it comes to the property search, and Jermaine indicated, getting the assistance of a realtor such as Victoria Mutual Property Services is always good, because that leads the question to be answered, the reason for purchasing the property, which will determine the location and the type of property. Am I going to go for an apartment? Am I going to go for a bungalow if I'm returning? Therefore, I'm not necessarily going to go for a townhouse. If I'm younger, I may decide to go for a townhouse. So again, we have to take into consideration that process. It is always very important, again, to speak with a mortgage advisor, loans or credit officer, or an FSS, because that's where the pre-qualifying step comes into place. And again, we have touched on this before. The ability to repay the debt, that's where the affordability testing comes in, and the attitude towards debt. Earlier, the conversation about credit report, it's how you have treated credit in the past. And I noticed a bit of question in the chat. For those members in the diaspora, the credit report is from your country of residence, not the credit report from Jamaica. So again, that's a report that you will have to acquire for yourselves and then present it to the loans officer at Victoria Mutual. Then, you have to confirm your interests, you engage your legal representation, pay your deposit, and thus, the beginning the process of exchanging the contracts. You compile and then you submit the documents for the mortgage application. There comes the approval, the offer, the acceptance of the offer, and roughly 90 days later, there's disbursement and you collect your keys.
So Leighton, we're saying take care of your credit no matter where you live. So if you live in the UK, take care of the credit in the UK. You live in the US, make sure your credit look good. And you're in Canada, same thing. Nobody
Correct.
make the credit in Jamaica alone look good, because that's not where the test is going to.
Correct.
Any other nuances that one needs to know if you live in the diaspora and you're looking to purchase a home?
I think some key things. First of all, it's important to have an understanding and an appreciation of timescales. There's an inclination to compare the process in Jamaica with that of one's country of residence. However, there must be an appreciation that timescales vary from country to country. Even if you're in the United States, when it comes to property acquisition and the conveyancing process, it may differ. And as such, we have to appreciate that. Usually it takes 90 days in Jamaica. Again, we touched on the topic earlier of managing debt and the credit history. Many fail to properly manage credit in their younger years, and it has a way of coming back to haunt such individuals at this critical juncture when it comes to home ownership. So be careful of that. Acting on impulse is another thing we have noticed. Though it is very rare now, we have seen many individuals who have, visited the island with their friend, or they have gone out and they see these developments, and unfortunately, sometimes they hastily enter into contractual arrangements to purchase property without sitting with a mortgage advisor and going through that pre-qualification process. It is important that you sit with a loan officer, credit officer, or FSS, or a mortgage advisor, because what happens is that if you need a mortgage to assist you in purchasing that property, you need to ensure that you can afford it. And that's what we have been repeating time and time again, which leads us into the whole fact of preparation, because it is important to be prepared to cover the costs associated with home ownership. We cannot overemphasize the importance of savings. And my final thing is that of ACT. Remember, property acquisition, it is an involved process, and therefore it is important that once this process has started, applicants need to act quickly on the instructions of either their mortgage advisor, their attorney, and return the documents as promptly as possible. Keeping in mind that time is money, their money. And already when you're purchasing thousands of miles away, the transmission of documents via courier service erodes some of that time. So again, it's important. You can visit our Diaspora page, for example, at www.vmbs.com, and look for VM Worldwide. You'd note all our offices. We have 3 offices in the United Kingdom. We have an office in Florida in Miramar, and we have an office in New York. And also, on our mortgage portal, where you can apply for the mortgage online and track your application all the way to disbursement.
Well, Mr. Smith, you may share a name with a comedian, but you're certainly not giving any jokes this afternoon. You're definitely giving us the information that we need when it comes to, of course, owning a property if you live in the diaspora. Anything else anyone wants to say just before we go to questions from the segment?
To what they also said, is that the NHD also extends its services to Jamaicans living in the diaspora, whether you're there for work or permanently residing there, you're a citizen there. We know many of them have plans, as they said,
come back home, yes.
And the NHD offers its services there, 3% of their declared income contribution, and they can become registered and pay their NHD contributions from overseas. Now, what we find is that many are interested to come back and access or build on own land product.
Right.
They want to identify their own piece of land, or have some family land that's already here in Jamaica that they want to do construction on, and we offer services to them.
And they access, of course, that information via your website.
Via our website, nhd.co.uk.
Awesome. So we're going to try and see if we can take some questions. Are there any questions for my panelists, my, of course, very able representatives here from Victoria Mutual Property Services? We have the gentleman here who will give you the pre-qualification information. And of course, we have Mr. Burbick from the NHT, who will definitely be giving you all that you need to know in terms of your loan process. We also have Mr. Leighton Smith. He's the man representing Victoria Mutual over there in the UK, and he can tell you all you need to know if you live in the diaspora and you're looking to purchase a property for your home or for investment. Here we have a question. I need a mortgage loan. I am also going through NHT. What are the steps? And also, can the loan be joint for couples? Yes, I believe we gave those responses, but we can no problem with repeating that. So what's the process, and can the loan be made out a joint loan for couples? You want to go first?
I think I should take that one. So you need a loan, and you need it to be a joint loan, and you want NHD to be a part of it.
Yes.
All of that can happen. So you would have either come into a branch VMBS, speak to an FSS, or you can access information on our website, and that should be able to guide you through the process. But as I say, you identify the property, you get pre-qualified, we access your NHT benefit for you, and then the documents are prepared, and then we do our processing of that loan, after which you're either approved or declined. But with our expertise, if it is that you can't qualify, you would have known from the first early, from when you do your pre-qualification. So yes, and then with VM, we have that joint mortgage financing program. So you don't have to go to NHC to pay their portion. It's a one-stop shop, and we try to make everything easy and convenient for you.
Okay, hope we answer that question for our viewer. I see another one coming here. All right, hold on. We get to get from here. Here we go. What are the steps for foreigners wanting to purchase in Jamaica? Can you walk us through that process? Leighton, they wanted to walk through the process for someone. They said foreigners. I'm not sure if that's somebody who's not necessarily tied to Jamaica, or if you're tied to Jamaica. What's the process?
Yeah, it's until determined. Or they may be a Jamaican who is residing overseas. The process, again, is pretty much similar to what Damien just mentioned. It starts out with having a discussion.
All right, Leighton, 1 second. Are you hearing me now?
Advisor. They can visit any one of our offices.
Seem to be having a small technical glitch.
Not visit just
He's actually answering the question, but I can't
in terms
hear
of calling the offices, and therefore we can make a virtual appointment with them. But the process really starts off with them having that discussion, by presenting to us an idea of their income and also looking at their expenses. That's where their affordability testing comes into play. We also ask them if they can get a copy of their credit report, that they take it along with them to that, well, I keep saying take it along, but actually present it to us during the virtual mortgage interview, because they will scan that into us, of course, or they can drop it off at their offices and we take copies so we can see that. Now, once we do that assessment, we will be able to determine and let them know how much it is that they will be approved for. The next thing they will have to do is then search for the right property. Sometimes there are some individuals who have an idea of the property that they're looking for, and therefore they will come in with the cost of that property, and therefore we'll do the assessment from then on. If it is that they can afford the property, we will give them what is called a pre-qualification letter, confirming that they have been assessed, and this is a letter that they can give to the realtor who is assisting them with the property acquisition or identifying that property, confirming that they are indeed very serious. They then will pay over their deposit to the vendor, of course, having their necessary legal representation and working with their realtor. They will then get a copy of the sale agreement and begin to receive documents in relation to that property. All those documents filed along with the necessary relevant documentation required for the mortgage application on our part. So that's their ID, the proof of address, their TRN. We're going to look at their pay slips, their job letter. If it is that they're self-employed, we're going to be asking them to present us with their bank statements, their company registration, and their financial accounts for at least 6 months to 2 years, depending upon the company, how long they have been about. We will then do the overall application process, submit that. Within 24 hours, they know whether they're approved or not. They then get an offer. They do an acceptance of that offer. We then confirm with them through their lawyers the process as to what is next to take place.
Awesome. That was comprehensive. And that's what you were asking for. So certainly we gave that to you. All right. Here's my next question for you, gentlemen. What was it? And the closing costs? Does VMBS offer like another loan option to help with getting the funds? I think even I can answer that. We offer up to 100% financing. So if you don't have all of the deposit, we'll help you to find a way. Am I correct?
Yes, and so that is twofold. because you might not have all of your deposit, but your debt service is such that you can still carry a larger percentage. So if it is that you wanted to do a 10% deposit,
right,
but you can only find 5.
Mhm.
But when we do the pre-qual assessment, we realize that you are able to get up to 95% financing. That's a way you could access that.
That's 100 because you can
Right.
find 5.
Because you can find 5. Another way you can access that is through our unsecured loan facility, right? This is where you're able to get funds for 5 years within like 3 days. So, and those funds can be used to make up that deposit and closing that you need. Once it is that your debt service will allow. So it's always your ability to repay, as Leighton said.
Yes.
Once you're able to repay, you can always get a larger percentage.
So you must have good relations with your bank. Make sure that you're paying
your
up your
credit
loans.
must be
Your
good
credit
also.
must be good also. Awesome. If someone gives you their NHT benefits, does their name have to be on the title?
Well, I would want to explore the NHT benefit a little bit more. But the NHT allows 2 individuals to co-apply. That's one of the circumstances, and it doesn't have to be 2 individuals who are related. It can just be 2 arbitrary individuals.
Okay.
In addition, of course, you have to assess that relationship and see if you want to enter into that kind of
Yes.
relationship with an individual. There's also the possibility of parents passing on their benefit to their children as well, either for our schemes or either to purchase on the open market. So there are different arrangements under which 2 individuals can co-apply. Yes. Well, the question is if the name has to go on the title.
Yes.
No, there are options involved where one party can waive their interest in it. But remember, as we started out with, it's an individual thing. So it's what the individual qualifies for.
Yes.
That's what you'll be able to access. And yes, it's a big investment. It's a 20 to 25, or in some cases a 40-year relationship.
Yes.
So you have to ensure that anybody you're co-applying with is an individual you're comfortable doing that with. But say, for example, circumstances will change.
Absolutely.
Life happens.
Yes.
So there is also the option of an individual, buying out whatever stake they may have had, or whatever interest, or waiving again, as I said, whatever interest they may have in a particular property.
Awesome. We have another question coming from our viewers. What if I don't have a property in mind? Can the specialist at VM Property Services help me seek a property? Jermaine?
Well, definitely. And that is our line of business. So someone coming to VMPS seeking to identify that property that best suits their need, that is our line of business. We will have that conversation with you. We'll create that relationship. And that relationship, we hope, or we assure you that it will be shared with other people, and the referrals will be coming back to VMBS.
Awesome. So yes, you can access that information from our VMBS Property Services specialist. How easy is it to access VMBS Property Services? How do you make contact?
Well, it's very simple. Our website is vmpsrealestate.com. Now, this website, you will be able to see all the properties that are listed in the island, right? It doesn't matter who the property is listed with. They are all shown on our website. So that's vmpsrealestate.com.
That's good information, because I didn't know that either. VMPS.
PS.
Right. So you're used to saying VMBS. It's VMPS. Yes? All right. Any other questions of course, what is the process to get a home equity loan from the VM family while having a mortgage with NHT? Home equity loan. So you already own the property.
VMBS,
yes.
Is it a joint mortgage? So the question should have. All right, let me just go anyway. All right, once it's a joint mortgage, what would have happened is that we would have assessed what that equity value is.
Right.
Right? And then we would have made contact with our partners and then we would have pre-qualify again. So nothing in mortgage happens without pre-qualification. They would have pre-qualified that individual for that additional amount,
Right.
and it goes through the process just as similar as a regular mortgage.
Because it comes back to your ability to pay.
Yeah, man. And then when I say it goes back through the process, it has to be registered again and all of that.
Right.
So that's how that would have happened.
So do I come into VM?
VM, man. Still a one-stop
So come to VM,
Mhm.
and then you will take care of the application through the
Yes.
NHD.
And would have made contact with me.
When can self-employed persons pay their NHT contribution at the tax office?
Self-employed contributions are due on a quarterly basis. The quarters being June, September, December, and March. So the financial year starts in April. So the first quarter would be April, May, June, and then you make your 3% of the income that you would have earned during that April to June period, and then you do that again come September, in December, and then March the following year.
So I just want to be clear. So if you're a self-employed person, can't you pay, come directly to the NHT?
No, self-employed contributions are made directly
through
to
the tax office.
tax office, right? And you can make those payments either inline or online via their website.
Awesome. Here's another one. I've heard that NHT now has a point system. Can you give some more information on this for persons who will be applying?
Okay, I cross my legs because this one kind of deep. All right, but let's get into it. So the point system, how the point system works is that it's what the NHT uses to determine individuals who benefit for schemes. So NHT does two kinds of mortgage. There's an open market loan where you see something out there and you come in and you say, I'm interested in that. Or you say you're interested in a scheme that the NHT is building. So when it comes to the selection process for the scheme units, we use a point system. And here's how the point system works. It's 20 points for each year that you contribute to the NHT. In addition to that, the NHT makes another set of points available to you based on your income. So two elements that make up points. Your years of contribution with 20 points for each year that you've contributed to the NHT, and some additional points, maximum being 100, based on your income. So when we build a scheme, the units are ready, we advertise them, we invite persons to apply. Persons apply, and yes, it's the individual who has the highest number of points will fall at the top of the queue. Doesn't necessarily mean that that individual is guaranteed the unit, because then we have to do what Damien has been preaching all evening, pre-qualification. So we have to do the assessment as to say, what's your income like? Can you actually afford this? But that's how the point system works. And yeah, let me not complicate it further. I could go deeper, but it's 20 points for each year contribution and some additional points up to a maximum of 100.
So I just suggest if you want more answers, you can link the NHT for more details in terms of the points system.
Definitely. And just to stress, I want my points and how much points I have. Remember, the points only matter when it comes to selection for an NHT scheme. That's the only time we get into the business of how much points you have, right? And it's to ensure that it's a fair way of distributing the NHT benefit. It's not a Johnny know me and he can link me, and me squeeze a key give. No,
and it's important.
It's based on that point system, and trust me, it's a very rigorous, audited,
I'm sure,
very precise system, free of human intervention. So even if me know Johnny, me can't push Johnny
name up
and add some extra points to the points that Johnny have. No, it's free. Trust me. Trust me on that one.
Being a question.
Sure.
Is the point system only applicable to first-time homeowners?
Well, NHT generally, our priority and our bias is towards first-time homeowners. And so an individual who is not a first-time homeowner wouldn't qualify for an NHT scheme unit. No, because you'd have already accessed a housing benefit through the NHT, or you have a home through other means. Existing homeowner, though, can pass on their points to a non-homeowner to give that non-homeowner a better chance. That's what we call, as it relates to, well, definitely, specifically rather, parents passing on their points to their child. So a parent may have purchased their home through VMBS, but a child now in that position now where they're looking for home ownership, see an NHT scheme, they want to apply for it, that parent can pass on the points that they have to assist that child.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. Here's another question for you. Lots of questions. I'm loving the questions as well, because these were, we're giving people answers. For teachers now that haven't received a salary for May and will not get paid until September, is school until school reopens. The time. That was the question. Will that affect my contributions to NHT?
COVID-19 has changed a lot in terms of how we as a country and as a nation operate.
Yes.
So in that particular instance, we could not, in good conscience, penalize any individual who would have been impacted in that kind of way. However, remember, NHT offers loans. So if it is that you're looking to purchase a property, at the time you purchase or time you come to us to purchase, you must be in a position, you must have a income and be in a position to repay that loan. I'd just like to segue though to mention a little bit that for our mortgagors who have been impacted by COVID as a result of a job loss or being laid off temporarily, or their income has been affected somehow in any way, the NHT has measures in place to assist those individuals. So I would encourage you go to our website, nht.gov.jm. If you're an NHT mortgager, your income has been affected in any way by COVID-19, do come in. It's a simple form that we ask you to fill out, state how you have been impacted, and we'll apply either a moratorium or look at a combination, a suite of services or benefits that we can apply to ensure that we all can comfortably weather COVID-19. And I stress that because we're in the business of home ownership, but it doesn't stop there. It's a journey. We have to keep that journey going with preservation as well. So if you're in difficulty any at all, and I'll even go a bit further to say, if it's not just COVID, if you're in any kind of difficulty with your mortgage payments, do come in and talk to us. We have policies and measures in place to assist. Don't hide. When you hide is when we end up in our problems. So come in and talk to us and see how we can work out something. I like
how enabling the NHT is sounding. You know what I mean? Come in, we'll assist you.
Yes.
It's all like VM, man.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Do you have to set an appointment to meet with a mortgage officer at VM?
Yes and no, because most of our customers are persons who are
walk-ins,
walk in and say, you know, that I'm thinking about purchasing a property.
Yeah.
Can I have some information? What do I need to do? And then you have the persons who are researching, and those persons would have access us sometimes online, or they call in to our member care department, or they stop by. So no, you don't have to have an appointment. It's good to have one though.
Yes.
Because you get that service when you have one.
Right.
Because you more likely might go to a financial service specialist that could take you from point A to point B to point C. Just to make that convenient and
it's good to have the times eked out for you.
Yeah.
So somebody's prepared. But of course, I'm sure you'd welcome people walking through the doors of VM.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Great. Here's another question. This home ownership is a big one, gentlemen. So, you know, it's great that we get the chance to answer these questions. What if you are seeking to buy a strata property, but the price has not yet been released? Is there anything that can be done in the meantime to secure a mortgage?
Well,
so
pre-qualification again.
Yeah.
Pre-qual, because what you need to do is to look at your salary versus your expenses and see what is the limit or what is the best fit property for you. So even if the structure is going to be say I think anything 25 million, and you are pre-qualified for say 22, and the strata won't finish in a year, I save for home. So you save the difference, so that once this strata is ready to be sold or they're starting to take applications, you are ready.
So the onus is really on you then to ensure that you come in
and get the information.
Get the information so that you can either save more or know that you're in a position to buy once the information gets out there.
And it's good to have that pre-qualification letter too, because based off experience, when you go to the market, realtors, vendors, they're assessing the seriousness of the individual as well. And Damien said it earlier that it's a competitive process. If you snooze even for a day, you lose. So you don't want to be in a position where you see something you like, you want to put in an offer, but you can't because you need to go look for the pay slips and you need to go find that, and you remember where you put your birth certificate and you can't find the ID. No, have that pre-qualification letter so that when you see something, you identify it, you can move and move quickly, because it's a difference sometimes between who gets the property at the end of the day.
First come, first serve.
Yes.
What I would encourage that customer to do is to make contact with a realtor and fully explore the market before just deciding to wait on that development to complete.
Okay.
Because you'd be surprised that there may be something on the market
That's better.
That's
more suited for you.
Suitable.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Here's another one for you, Dwayne. Can you elaborate some more on the Parents Assistance Program when your parent is already retired?
Well, I'm happy to say it's one of the policies that the NHT has looked back at. So previously, the mortgage relationship stopped at the age of 65. Now we've moved it up to age 70. So based on the question about the parent having been retired, retired as long as they have not yet passed age 70. And I know most people retire 60, 65. So as long as the parent has not yet past age 70, the parent would be in a position to pass on the points to the child. And there are two parent assist programs, I must say. There is one where the parent can pass on the points to assist the child in qualifying for an NHT scheme. But then there's the other one now where the parent is not is an existing homeowner and they have not taken their NHT benefit and they want to pass on that benefit to the child. So a part of the revision that we've looked at is that the parent previously had to be 65, had to reach retirement. Now the parent can be any age. Parent can be 50 and want to pass on the benefit to their child. They're free to go ahead and do that. The other revision that we've made to it as well is that, remember, we look at mortgages is two individual mortgages. So if a parent is 65, really and truly they would only have 5 years left on their mortgage to age 70.
Right.
Under the Parent Assist program, what we now do is to calculate the mortgage cycle based on the child's age. So what that means now, a child who is 30 has a full 40-year cycle, or 35 would have, I'm not that great, 35 years. And what that really translates into smaller, more manageable monthly payments.
That's correct.
Which is what you ideally want. As you mentioned earlier, you don't want to be house poor. You don't want to start pay the mortgage and it's crackers and water. That becomes dinner.
Leighton, I know you're overseas. We haven't forgotten you. Here's a question for you. I live overseas. I have never contributed to the NHT before. However, I save in my Victoria Mutual account. Great. Every month. If I needed to purchase a property, would I be able to obtain a mortgage through VMBS? Is there a big difference between NHT and a VMBS mortgage? Sir Leighton?
Yeah, thanks for that question. Well, definitely, we will be able to sit with them and assist them by means of a discussion to determine, what property they can afford and how it is that we can assist them to home ownership. Now, it is important for persons in the diaspora to appreciate that Victoria Mutual was the first Jamaican financial institution to actually serve our members in the diaspora. And as such, the products in the diaspora that we offer are catering to their needs. So we do offer a foreign currency product, that is a foreign currency mortgage, either in Canadian dollars, US dollars, or sterling pounds, and therefore it's at a very or an attractive rate. It's either 4.25% or 5%. Now, if it is that someone takes out the mortgage in foreign currency, then they wouldn't be able to combine that with an NHT benefit because the NHT benefit is in Jamaican dollars. So therefore, we can assist that individual through that product. We also, of course, as was mentioned earlier, that we offer the loan in Jamaican dollars. And then we have a special that is going on of 6.95% up until June 30th. So what that individual will do is that if it is that they want to use their NHT benefit, they will combine the NHT portion, let's say it's the 6.5 million at whatever rate, NHT will determine that and inform us. And then the difference they will borrow from Victoria Mutual at a rate of 6.95%. So in short, the answer is yes. What I will encourage that individual to do is to contact our offices. If they're in the United Kingdom, our offices are in Brixton, Tottenham, or Birmingham. If they're in the United States, our offices are in Florida, that's in Miramar, or in New York City, that's downtown Brooklyn. All right, and they can visit our website to see the contact numbers for those offices.
Just a quick one, Leighton, still in reference to the question before. Would an advice, for instance, be to that person, say they look at how much they're saving and they're not quite at the amount that's required to get a property? Would you look at that person and say, okay, well, maybe you need to apply to the NHT for like a year then, and within that time you continue to save some more so that you can access both the NHT and the mortgage to VM?
That is an option. Again, it depends on the person's time scale, and that's why, again, the pre-qualification discussion is so important. Because what would happen is that the individual could look at Victoria Mutual's foreign currency product, and when they realize the monthly payment, they may say, oh, it's more affordable for me if I go ahead with the foreign currency product. If it is, then that the person decides to go with Jamaican and they don't necessarily have the savings and they want to contribute to the NHT, and then they go through that stipulated or mandated time period, and within that time they can access the benefit indefinitely.
Awesome. Here's another question for you, gentlemen. Can my employer pays the required 3%, however, I want to increase now how many points I have?
The question has many parts. So can voluntary contributions be made at a part at a time? Yes, voluntary contributions can be made, but voluntary contributions is really a very specific term in NHT. It speaks to individuals who are not PAYE, who are not self-employed, but would still want to contribute. So an individual who is retired, has not yet accessed a housing benefit, and they want to do that through the NHT, they pay generally from their pensions. They can make their contributions from that. That's one category of voluntary. The other being, as Leighton was mentioning, persons who reside overseas, who want to contribute to the NHT. So those are the two voluntary contributor groups. The person said they want to increase their points. The employer already is making, they said 3%, it really should be 2% your employer is making. So really check that. It's 2%. That's why I said a question has many parts I have to go through.
Yes.
You know. But an individual is beyond what the employer deducts from your salary. An individual can always make additional payments if they are self-employed or they have contract, them do some little work on the side and you want to pay your contributions from that. Yes, you can always make additional NHT contributions through that. I'm not sure it will impact how many points you have, because the points, as I mentioned earlier, is based on the year, based on the number of years. What it will impact, though, is perhaps the affordability and how much you're ultimately able to borrow. So if it is for an NHT scheme, for example, where we have 100% financing, that such an individual would be in a very good position to take on a mortgage that's beyond the 6.5 that NHT normally lends.
Thank you, sir. Here we go. Final question. Before we move on to our next feature. If we want to purchase a home, what are the benefits of pre-approval versus pre-qualification?
I can take this one.
Sure.
You
can both.
All right, start first.
I think the pre-qualification and the pre-approval is one and the same.
Yeah.
Right? But this will impact your readiness to participate in the real estate market. As Dwayne had pointed out earlier, and also Damian, that this is like your visa to enter the real estate space. And realtors are going to require this document because it's important to have the pre-qualification letter to submit an offer on a property.
Yes.
Yes.
So I hope we've answered those questions, and of course so much more, I'm sure. So folks, go on the websites for VM and of course NHT, and you can get some answers.
And with the mortgage process, there's one thing I'd like to say. Planning plus preparation equals preservation. Planning plus preparation plus preservation
equals happiness.
Equals happiness.
All right, so we now have the house, we have the property, and what's next?
The journey continues. Home ownership is a journey. You have to maintain that investment that you've made in that property. Don't let the property run down, please.
No. And you want some nice furniture in there. Man, you want to make sure the furniture hot. So where do you go? You go to, of course, one of our partners, and we're talking about decor. So our decor partner today is Ashley Furniture Home Store. And of course, they have some great tips on practical furnishing for your new home. Let's go and see what our friends have in store from the Ashley Furnishing Home Store.
Hi, this is Angie. And functionally create the home of your dreams. So a lot of new construction actually have an open floor plan, and the design flows from the kitchen to the dining and to the living space. So it's all one open space. So we have to choose pieces that actually correlate, but are also very practical and functional within the spaces. What I like about this dining piece in particular is, first of all, the height of the table is actually at counter height, and it's compact enough for a small space where if your kitchen doesn't have an island, I love that this piece could actually double as an island. So this could be pulled up close enough to the kitchen where it could function as an island. You could then move it as needed to a dining space where you would add seating if you had guests over or if you have a larger family. So what's great about this piece is that the table itself is a really functional height for you to work. It's a practical height for you to be seated and have dinner. It's great for the children to do homework. It's a really great space. But what I like is it comes with these complementary high back chairs with support in the back for dining. But if your space is very compact, a great trick is to actually use a stool such as this one that stores away very easily, and it's out of the way, it doesn't take up a lot of space. And what's better about this piece is that it has these great display shelves incorporated in it. So all of your wines can be stored here, as well as your glasses and your decorative objects. So in your new home and in a lot of the new construction, you don't have a lot of space dedicated to dining. You may have 8 to maybe 10 feet. And if that's the case in your new space, a dining set such as this is the perfect selection for you. It's very compact, and once it's put together, it's literally 5 feet. So if you have like an 8 to 10 foot space, and you have just enough space for this dining table to fit and enough space to actually pull your chairs out and for you to have enough space. But what's even better is instead of selecting a square dining table with edges that may be a little bit obstructive, you can choose a round table so you have clear movement around the table. What's also great about a round table is that you can actually, when you need to, if you have friends over for a little dinner party or for games night, you can actually squeeze up to 6 people in the space. And that's what I really like about this. So we can all get really cozy and you can bring 2 chairs from another space within the home. So that's what's really great about getting a round table. So we've moved on to the bedroom, and the bedroom is a space in which we spend most of our valuable time in the home. It's where we get the most of our rest. This is where we center and balance and relax after a long day's work. Our day ends and starts in the bedroom. So you have to make the greatest investment, I believe, in the bedroom. And it starts with your mattress. Your mattress has to be a very, very comfortable mattress. And here at Ashley Furniture Home Store, if you visit our dream destination, you can select the mattress of your dreams. And once you've selected the mattress, then you have the perfect frame and base for that mattress. And what I love about this bedroom suite is the solid hardwood construction. It is so strong and versatile and beautiful all at the same time. What I love about this piece is that it wears really well because it's from our Urbanology collection. That is a nice distressed finish. So you don't have to worry about any scratches, nicks, and dents because it literally makes the piece more beautiful. In the bedroom, you also need to choose practical pieces to offer storage because you don't want to live in a space that's cluttered. So wherever you can store pieces is actually very, very practical. And this is a most practical piece because it has additional storage on the front of the bed with this nice barn-style sliding door. So you can store extra bedding, you can store throws, and so this is a really practical and functional space. The piece comes in a king-size or queen-size bed, as most of our Ashley pieces do, and it comes with a dresser, a nightstand, and a chest of drawers. So the living room or your living space is actually just that. It's the space in which we do all of our living. It's where the families gather, it's where friends gather. It gets a lot of wear and tear. So the pieces that you invest in for this room have to be very durable, they have to be very practical, and they have to be very functional. We're now in the traditional lifestyle at the Ashley Furniture Home Store, and I selected this really beautiful piece because it is just that. It is so classic and beautiful. It has this nice neutral brown tone, so it'll go with any accent color. It's in this very durable and practical microfiber, so it actually wears really, really well. But what's best about this piece is that it's actually a sofa bed. It's actually a sleeper sofa. So what is the best thing about this is if you live in a studio apartment, you can have a beautiful living space, and at night it converts to your bedroom. If you have a home office that you're dedicating to working, but it's also going to double as a guest room, then you can have the sofa in the room, and then if a guest comes over, it folds out into a bedroom. If it's in a TV room or a family room and the family uses it and watches television, when they retire, guests can also sleep over. And if it also is in a bedroom for maybe a son or somebody else or a daughter, it can actually fold out. So the point is a sofa bed is very, very practical if you don't have a lot of space to accommodate a bedroom or a bed as well as a sofa. So this is a really, really great piece. And so it'll convert into a substantial queen-size bed. So I'm going to demonstrate to you how quickly that can happen. So it's something that you can do on a daily basis. Family spaces are very important in the home, and if you're creating a family space for in your living room, a TV room, or just a family gathering space that is primarily for television watching, when you're selecting a piece for television viewing, it has to support your neck and your back and the seated position for extended periods. And recliners, therefore, always almost come with really high backs because it supports your neck. It has this curves in the back because these are for lumbar support. So when you're sitting, your back is supported. And what is great about this sectional is that it seats 6 people, and 4 of the 6 people can actually independently recline their seats. So that's so great. So this is very, very comfortable and facilitates extended television watching, maximum comfort, and just absolute heaven. The love seat piece, because this is all detachable, the love seat has cup holders and it has storage right here for all your remote controls and that kind of thing, so things are very safely and comfortably out of the way. So that's what I like so much about this piece. So it's very important for you to just look out for those details. Padding and support for your arms, and very, very important, like I said, is the high back for your neck support. So this is a really great piece, and I'm just going to show you all the pieces that actually recline. The Victoria Mutual Building Society will help you get into your new home, and the Ashley Furniture Home Store will help you to finish, furnish, and decorate it. Thank you for joining us, and all the best on your quest to home ownership.
All right, so there you go. Wonderful tips there from our partner, Ashley Home Store, Furnishing Home Store. And listen, Ashley Furniture Home Store, great stuff. You get some tips? I hope your host look like that, gentlemen. No? So, so we tried to do our giveaways at the top of the show, but now I think we'll get back to it. Ranique Williams, are you online? Ranique? All right, them know me technically challenged, you know. Ranique actually got the answer.
Ranique actually got the answer correctly. Ranique said up to 100% financing, and yes, that is correct. So Ranique Williams is the winner for the, of course, gift basket courtesy of VM and or tote bag with that wonderful house on the inside, and of course $5,000 courtesy of Mutual as well. Now remember that you can go to our website VMBS.com to access any information you need.
Of course, home ownership, purchasing a vehicle, and of course, getting very happy with purchasing your car. You can also contact us via 876-754-8627. Let me repeat that, 876-754-8627. So Ranique Williams, congratulations to you. All these lovely things here on camera are now yours. So we can give some other persons an opportunity to win as well, gentlemen. What do you say?
Sure.
Keep the happiness going.
Keep the happiness.
Keep the happiness going. So our decor partners, Ashley, of course, furniture is with us, and we want to give away something from them. So, all right, here's another question for you. I hope you're watching. You know where to go to. What are 2 rules to consider when selecting furniture for your home? If you're paying attention, then you should be able to easily answer this question. What are 2 rules to consider when selecting furniture for your home? Come on, guys, quickly. Let's get this one down. Yes, we're waiting for the winners. We're going to wait on the winners this time. We want to actually see the names on display so we can big up the person and congratulate them right away. 2 rules to consider when selecting furniture for your home. 2 rules. And when we're going on, sometimes you walk in and you see the furniture, but it's not really perfect for the space.
Yeah.
So what are those rules? What should you be looking at before you purchase the furniture for the home? And we know we have lots of persons watching, so I'm sure they're answering these questions right now. I'm going to ask Mr. Verbeek to ask the next question.
Sure.
From NHC. Not quite yet. I want to get the answers first from the folks answering this question, courtesy of Ashley Furniture. All right, we have a winner. We do have a winner. So congratulations to you. Thank you so much for paying attention. And I'm just waiting for that person's name so I can make the big announcement. Congratulations. Big things, you know, them a win gift baskets and all these things courtesy of Ashley Home. Here we go. Winners is 1. All right, Melanie. Yes. What a pronunciation they go. Old. I hope I'm not getting that too off. Hope it's spelled right. Melanie, congratulations to you. You've just won for yourself, of course, a gift basket courtesy of our friends from Ashley Home Furnishing. All right, Dwayne.
All right.
Your question.
I'm going to make it easy. Very easy.
Yes.
Very, very easy. What's the NHG's lowest and highest interest rates. The lowest interest rate the NHT provides and the highest.
Lowest interest rate and the highest. All right. We're waiting for this winner as well. And then I'm going to ask another question courtesy of Ashley Furniture Home Store. What's the lowest and highest? Lowest and highest. I think I know that answer, but I won't say it because I'm going to give it away, right? Right, Roo? All right. Lowest and the highest. Do we have a winner already? I believe we have identified a winner. Hold on. I'm loving this because I'm sure folks are trying to type as fast as they possibly can. I can't. Yeah, it's very competitive online right now. So let's see if we. Yes, we have a winner, and the winner is. Is it? What's that? Best. No man, look here. Look here. Don't mash it up with the name them. I don't know Mr. already. I mean, not old man. Is that Instagram handle that man? Best Tactis. Hello. No.
B static B. B static B.
B static. Woo! Thank you. B static.
B. B static B.
B static B. There you go. B static B. No, come on now. Congratulations to you. You were not static. You won. B static B. You won. And of course, now we can move to our final question, courtesy of Ashley Furniture Home Store. And this question is another easy one. Now, Ashley Furniture Home Store, they have several locations in Jamaica. We just want you to name 2 of those locations. Can you tell us where you can find Ashley Home Store, Ashley Furniture Home Store? We need 2 of those locations, and you will be, of course, our final winner for this giveaway segment. We're very excited to give away these things, and trust me, this is pretty good, and I like this. The whole house names is actually pretty nice. Yeah. So, waiting for our final winner this afternoon, and let me see who's going to get this one. Don't be static. Please. Move on. Be active. Don't be static. Let's see if we can get the winner pretty quickly. All you need to do is to name 2 locations for our decor partner, Ashley Furniture Home Store, this afternoon, and you will be walking away with something great, a great gift basket courtesy of them. All right. I'm seeing the name being typed up here. I hope it's an actual name. And we have a YouTuber who's taking this one. Shanice James. Wow, a readable name. Final winner, Shanice James. Congratulations to you. And of course, thank you so much to our partners, Ashley Furniture Home Store. And I've gotten that right. Thank you so much. All right, gentlemen, let me tell you something. Hold on. One more. Hold on. Let me wait for this information here. All right, so what we're going to ask the winners to do is to please send us a DM with your correct name for us to contact you. And we're talking about B Static. Yes. B Static. Yeah. We need the actual name, please. Right? Before you can get your prize. So please send us a DM with your correct name for us to contact you. Gentlemen, it's been a really informative afternoon. And quite frankly, I've enjoyed myself here with you guys. So I hope that the information was also good for the viewers. And I'm sure that they'll be sending us, asking more questions via the websites, VMBS.com, and of course, NHT as well. Yes?
And we're on all social media.
Yeah? No, remember, say I'm the happiness, a chief happiness officer. We also need to get the energy up before we leave. So, Mr. Selector, you have a rhythm. Let's see who can dance right now. Entertain. What is the problem?
All right, I'm going to head out.
No! No! Listen, no! It's not going down like that. So we're gonna give me a reading, please. I want to test the moves one at a time. Them. Yes. Hey. Wow, thank you so much. Wow, we've had such a great afternoon. Yeah?
Boy, so much information.
Yes, lots of
and
information.
I am sure. Come on, John, let's go closer. Closer.
Yes.
Okay, but I am sure that we have been informed, we've been educated.
Absolutely.
And now we know that our goals are within our reach.
Absolutely. All you
it's
need
like
to,
right there.
Right there.
Like,
and we have the experts. We have the experts right here at
right
VM.
at VM.
Whether you want to link us at VM Property Services or VMBS to ask for your mortgage loan.
or
We
even
have the
some
experts.
auto information.
Yes,
You either want to get a brand new car, it's your first car, you want to upgrade the vehicle, whatever the case might be, there's something right here at VM for you. Or guess what, Johnny? If you want invest.
Yes.
Yes, because investment is actually the new thing right now.
That's right. That's
you
why we
know?
say I save.
Yes, I
Make
save.
sure you come in and you save. And we have the coach to help you to, to make sure that you save.
Some wealth advisors with
Yes.
lots of information and guidance. And even if you just want to save for a simple vacation, Victoria Mutual will accommodate you. They
Absolutely.
will help you. Boy, I feel so renewed, revived, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now.
Right. So you get the positive feeling and you feel optimistic to approach the rest of the year because you're now furnished with this information and you have partners. VM is your partner, and of course we partner with NHT to help you to smooth the transition.
You mentioned partners. I have to big up our partners this afternoon. National Housing Trust, as you mentioned.
Yes.
We got a lot of information from the National Housing
That's true.
Trust, and I know that a number of persons you mentioned. Say you guess what? The home ownership. Your happy place.
Happy place.
Right? And it's a lot of persons' happy place. So big up the National Housing Trust. I
Yes.
know that I know that a lot of the questions were answered. And guess what? If you still want some more information, because either we're gonna get some points or we're gonna work up a points and build up a points, we're gonna own your house.
Absolutely.
All
We're
right,
going
so
for it.
big up National Housing Trust, big up as well Credit Info JA. Look here now, that credit report thing
Yes.
is very serious.
Yes.
Very, very serious. So big them up. Jabba's Pepper Swims. Big up as
Yes.
well. Thank you for passing by. Yes. And
Ashley.
Ashley.
Yes, when I say thank you. Our decor partners.
Oh, jeez.
Really
Looking
nice.
beautiful.
And remember, people, it's all about budget.
Yes, and
We often say
saving,
it's not about how
saving.
much you earn, it's about how much you save. So prepare yourself, get in line, and of course, come in for an assessment.
Yes, I was just going to mention that for persons who want some more information and you want to contact a VM representative, you can actually, if you want to get started on any of your goals, for example, whether it's auto, whether it's savings, whether it's investment, whether it's home ownership, you see much things I just called a
Whole
while
heap of
ago.
things.
Look here,
The
all
good
right.
things them.
The good things them, right? So you, guess what? You will be able to make appointments via the link that we will share through your email, all right? So remember, all you have to do is to sign up to receive it along with a VMBS e-guide. And guess what? A special surprise from our home and decor partner, Ashley.
Yes.
They have more things for you, it
More
seems,
things
right?
for you.
So all you have to do is please click on the link now and complete the form. And you will be able to sign up for all the information that you need, all the contacts that you need, and everything.
Everything
right?
that's
the good
there.
things
The
there.
good things there.
Yes.
This has been a wonderful afternoon.
Yes.
I want to big up all the folks who you can't see. All the
Yes,
people.
everybody behind the
They've
scenes.
been here from
Thank
morning
you so much.
on the VM team, on the technical teams.
Working
And they've been working hard. And we hope that today's presentation, wherever you're watching from, was comfortable for you. And,
You've
really...
been enlightened.
Yeah.
And you feel like, so guess what? With this information that I've received courtesy of Victoria Mutual and, of course, all the partners on board, it has put you in a better position to say, hey, even with everything that's going on, I can still strategize, I can still plan.
That's right.
I can still, recalibrate and get
I
everything
can get
in
there.
place
I can get to those goals.
and just achieve my goals by making better financial decisions, because that's what it's all about right here at our home and auto, our very first home and auto.
The Web-Expo. And I just wanted to say that because we were outside for the previous 2 years, and we know the excitement that can bring, the excitement of being outside and having everybody in one space. But I think the team really went all out to make sure that even though we're on the inside, we still presented the information to you on the outside.
Needed. Talk about innovation, right, and creativity.
Look here, bring about the good things then, William, please, because we have the good things.
Signing out now, Johnny?
We're signing out, unfortunately.
And Talia, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Talia.
you for having me. I had a blast,
Yes.
and I am sure you had a blast too, right?
Absolutely.
And on behalf of Victoria Mutual and everyone from Victoria Mutual,
Christopher Johnny Daly, your Chief Happiness Officer,
we want to say thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're here for you.
Absolutely. Good things then. Thank you.